Welcome to the second episode of Tumbling Podcast of Flesh. I'm Corey's Crypt. I'm here with my boy BDG Reviews.
What up?
And yeah, let's just start this podcast going into the news.
Okay.
All right, man. Did you hear about Quentin Tarantino directing a
Oh,
new Charles Manson flick?
that's either going to be extremely awesome or cringeworthy to the extreme. I'm betting on extremely awesome.
Yeah, me too. Did you hear about Margot Robbie
No.
being? I guess he's talking to Margot Robbie becoming Sharon Tate.
Oh, that can work. I
Yeah,
could
that's
I could
good
definitely
casting,
see
man.
that. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Quentin Tarantino. His casting is always pretty much perfect.
Yeah. No, I got good hopes for it, man. Because he seems to love '70s cinema and all that, and he just, he has an affinity for it. And so I think him doing like a Helter Skelter type thing would be awesome.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
I'm
I mean,
real curious on who he would cast for Charlie Manson.
I don't know. I mean, you either have to go with someone completely unknown, or like a really, really solid actor that can just pull it off.
Like Brad Pitt?
Um,
No, I'm just kidding, man.
that would be something to see. I'm not going to say whether it would be good or bad, but it would be something to see.
Yeah. No, I just thought that was quick. I actually heard about it right as I was writing down the news, so I figured I'd
Yeah,
bring it up because that's pretty big, man.
that is. I mean, and it's good to see him going sort of into the horror side.
Because he hasn't had a straight horror movie.
No, I would love to see a straight horror movie from Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, well,
Because
I
I
guess
mean,
you consider From Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah, but I mean that was essentially it wasn't even really directed by him or anything, was it? He wrote it and
Yeah, he wrote it
essentially
and starred in it.
yeah, and the first half is essentially like your basic Quentin Tarantino movie,
Yeah,
and
it's more
then
of a grindhouse feel.
yeah, it's literally two movies in one, you
Yeah,
know. But I'd like to see what he could do with something, like The Exorcist or something.
yeah, like a nice throwback satanic
Yeah,
cinema type feel.
yeah, something like
Oh
that. I
man,
think
that'd
he
be
could do
awesome.
wonders with. I really do.
I mean, he could obviously do exploitation good, and it
Oh
kind of
yeah,
was around the same time. He's seen
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that, so
I think he could pull it off. Well, then again, let's be honest. He could pull off pretty much anything.
yeah. And what do you think of him saying he's quitting after his 10th film, though?
Honestly, I don't believe it.
Yeah, neither do I.
When you have the talent that he has, you know, that drive has to go somewhere.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
if he's not making movies, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
That's kind of weird to me to even say that though,
yeah.
because it's like,
I think he's going for like I don't know, like a whole like mystique type thing. Like
yeah,
you know how like Warren Beatty only ever acts in like a few movies, but those he does are always like really good movies
I don't know
in
about that.
theory. No, but he always considers them really good movies.
Yeah,
You know,
what do you consider Bullworth?
I don't know. I don't know.
Have you
No, but
heard of that one?
yeah, I saw it like years ago.
Yeah,
I don't think I was very enthralled with it, but he seemed to like it.
yeah,
So I think it's something similar with Quentin Tarantino. Where if it's something he's interested in, he'll put all his time and effort into it, and he'll come up with something really good. And I think he's probably just thinking, like, well, 10 like excellent movies
yeah, for his
isn't
legacy.
isn't a bad career to go out on.
Yeah,
Especially when you consider you got people, who like have maybe I don't know, like 110 movies to their name and maybe 3 of them are good,
exactly. Yeah,
you know. Well, it is what it is. We'll
yeah. I'm
time will
sure I'll
be.
make more. I hope he leans more towards horror though, if he does more.
That would be cool. I think he could really bring something special to it.
Yeah, definitely. Because
Yeah.
I mean, his collaborations with Eli Roth and stuff end up being hits every time
Oh yeah.
they
Yeah,
work together.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. The second piece, it's not really news though. It was more. Did you see the new image of Pennywise they released?
Yeah, I did.
It's the best image I've seen so far.
It is. I'm actually really excited for the It remake.
Oh, me too.
You
Only
know,
because
because
it's one of my favorite movies of all time, man.
oh yeah, me too. I love the original miniseries. Literally, I've watched it like 3 and 4 days in a row. Like watched it Monday, watched it Tuesday, watched it Thursdays or anything or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I love everything about it, man.
Yeah,
It's one of those
it's
things I
it's
want to watch it again so bad, but I want to
yeah.
wait till the new one comes out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been reading the book. It's literal. I'm not joking here. It's taken me 27 years to read the book.
Oh my god. I want to read it, but I'm not even going to attempt, man. I'd rather get
It's
it on audiobook.
yeah, it's a pretty damn good book. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it. But
Yeah, like 400 pages is my max when it comes to books, man.
yeah, and you're looking at like what 1,000 pages or so.
Yeah.
Literally, it's taken me 27 years from like the first time I ever got one out from a library back when I was like a kid, and
Was it that
then
old
I
school cover with them fingers coming out of that
yeah,
drain thing?
yeah, yeah. It was the hardback of that,
Yeah.
and yeah, I picked it up from the library back then, and I got about a quarter of the way through it. Every time I'd get about a quarter of the way through it, and then I'd stop reading it for some reason,
Yeah.
and I couldn't tell you why. I couldn't tell you why I couldn't get past that point in the book. It's not like there was something in the book that was disturbing and I couldn't get past it or anything. I'd get to that point and I'd be just like, I just don't want to read this anymore.
No, I feel you on that. Like it's
You
just
know?
too long for me. I'm not a big reader to begin
Yeah.
with. Like I
Yeah.
like reading horror magazines,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think the last book I read was I think like Marilyn Manson's autobiography,
Oh yeah.
which was awesome, man.
Yeah. The thing I think with a lot of Stephen King things is you remember what they did when they originally released The Green Mile?
In little volumes.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said for that with Stephen King.
Yeah. I
You
didn't
know,
read The Green Mile, but I remember there was like 10 little tiny books or whatever.
yeah. And they were cheap. They were like $2 a piece or something, you know? Just something you could pick up like on the go. And it was a great way to get through a big book.
Yeah, that's I wish they would do that with it.
Yeah, like break it up in like in Japan, I think it's broke up into 3 parts.
Yeah, that'd be what
Two
it
or 3 parts. Yeah, you could handle that. You could read one chunk, then like okay, that's done. Give it like couple of weeks or whatever. Read the next part. You
or at
know.
least I don't know if the book's laid out like the movie at all, but if they could do it in two parts like the
Yeah,
movie, that'd be good too. Because when you just have a Bible-sized book in your hand, I mean,
I know it's daunting to say the least.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and it it it's interesting, and I think the new movie's going to be pretty good.
Oh, it's
Though,
gonna be huge, I bet.
have you heard though? Apparently, what they're doing with the character of Georgie.
No,
You know
they
how he
showed him
gets
in the trailer.
yeah, you know how he gets like killed at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Apparently in this new one, he disappears, so they don't find a body.
Did they find a body in the first one though?
Yeah, in the first one, he got his arm ripped off.
Oh, but they didn't show
It,
nothing
it,
like
did-
that.
it
It just
didn't it
showed the
didn't
crime
show it,
scene.
but they said like it's like someone killed George or whatever. Like if they're going in this one that he just kind of disappears, I don't know what to make of that
Yeah.
because how could they reckon that he was dead? Like he could have been washed away by the sewer. There's nothing particularly
Well, in the
like.
trailer, they make it obvious something's up with him because remember
Oh
they
yeah,
show him in the
definitely.
basement, like you'll float too, you'll
Oh, that's
float too.
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, man,
It
that's my
really
move.
is.
That's the most excited movie as of right now that I'm
Yeah,
hyped for. It's that
definitely.
and Dark. This is this. I'm gonna get more into that when we get to releases, but
Yeah,
this year is definitely the year for Stephen King fans.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
and
so much stuff. You got the Mist TV show out now.
yeah,
You know, you got The Dark Tower, you got that, you got a Stephen King show coming to Amazon called Castle Rock.
yeah. That's actually got what's his name, who's playing Pennywise.
That's Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, he's in it as well. So that's kind of cool.
I know, and it's like that Stranger Things show. That's
Yeah.
basically Stephen King influence.
Oh yeah. Well,
So
hell, that let's be honest, that was supposed to be it.
yeah, So
They
I
wanted
bet
to
you
do
it
it.
wouldn't have
So
been. I don't think it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Stranger Things
I believe that.
because of the
I
chemistry with
definitely
those
believe
kids and
that.
everything, and they
And it,
even have that Finn kid.
yeah, and it shows that they can do like 80s like
Throwback stuff,
the
yeah.
timeline, and it works.
And did you hear they're actually using the 80s for it?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea actually. I dug like in the original and everything the whole 50s stuff,
Yeah.
but let's be honest, if you were to make it nowadays and set it in the 50s, that would be cool.
No, I'm
But
excited to see
when you got to
Pennywise in the
the
80s.
yeah, when you get to like the modern day stuff, it'd be like, how old would people be?
Yeah.
If they were like 10 in the 50s, you know, little old people with canes and stuff going to fight a monster.
Yeah.
It
I
it
hope they
it
don't
it,
have
it,
that ending,
it
man.
could be interesting. Oh, the ending of the miniseries, you mean?
Yeah.
I know that was quite
I
bad.
think they're gonna do something different because I think they know that's everybody's complaint.
I would think so. My thought with it always was, it was something that I don't know. I wish they should have kept um, Pennywise as the clown right to the end. I get the idea, it being a creature and having like many forms and everything like that and everything, but when they brought out that spider at the end of the miniseries, I was like, oh
It took all the fear away from it, man.
yeah, it was like, this is the thing we've been afraid of. Someone get a can of Raid. We'll finish this thing off in a minute.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
and I hate the whole thing how it changes into the Teen Wolf looking thing for Seth Green and
yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
it's the sort of thing. I mean, that stuff's in the book as well,
Yeah.
but you know, I don't know. It's a very 50s thing to turn into.
Oh,
You
because
know,
that's the kind of movies that were out back then.
yeah, that was the whole idea, right? That like it turned into whatever like scared the people.
Yeah, I was a
But
teenage werewolf or whatever it was.
yeah, yeah, you know, um, it worked. It works in the book and it worked in the miniseries. I I don't think it would work in the remake, being set
Definitely
in the
not.
80s or whatever. Now, what could work? They won't do it. They won't. But like if he turned into things like Freddy and Jason, you
Oh
know,
yeah, like stuff people are.
yeah,
Well,
80s era horror stuff.
yeah,
But I seriously doubt that would ever happen just because of
licenses.
licensing and everything. Yeah, and you know how protective like companies can be of their
Oh, definitely.
licenses. But I think it's going to be quite good when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I'm hoping and praying we're going to be getting like a golden age of horror cinema.
What
You
again
know?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll happen, man, because I know a lot of the biggest selling movies are horror,
Yeah.
and every good like one that comes out seems to be doing good, like Get Out, Split, and all that. This year has been pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it has.
Like I was telling you before, Belko Experiment blew me away. Um,
Yeah.
but then you get stuff like Wish Upon that just came out, where I haven't. All I've heard is complete dog shit about.
I've seen the trailer for it,
Yeah.
and I thought the trailer has some potential. I'm not saying it's going to be a good movie. In fact, I'm betting it's probably going to be complete crap.
I could just tell from the trailer, man, it's not going to be
Yeah.
all that good. It's PG-13 too.
Yeah. PG-13 horror, honestly, is very difficult to do.
I think the only time it's like really good is like The Ring, maybe, and
Yeah. The Ring,
Insidious.
Insidious, Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist.
Well, back then though, that was
Yeah, that was just PG back then.
because they didn't have PG-13. Because so you'd have a
No.
lot of movies that were PG that had a lot of language and even nudity in it.
Yeah, very true. It's the sort of thing. It's not easy to do, but when done right, can be very effective. You know.
Well, yeah, because they got to rely more on the creep factor than the language and violence and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I always remember. I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a video on YouTube, and it's someone and they're showing. They have a dog there, and they have on the screen. I think it's The Conjuring, the first Conjuring,
Yeah.
and the dog's reacting to what's going on the screen, and there's nothing there. It's literally just like a corner in shadow, and the dog's reacting to it.
Wow.
You know, and that kind of proves like what you can do just with like without having to show stuff to make something genuinely scary. You know.
Yeah, well, usually movies that freak me out more are stuff that they don't show a whole lot of it.
Oh yeah, I one movie that always freaked me out was The Changeling
Oh
with
yeah, with George C.
George C.
Scott.
Scott. I mean, and what always got me about that was the fact, you know, probably the scariest thing in the entire thing that happens is a ball falls down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
But what does it for me is the reaction on George C. Scott's face.
Oh yeah.
Like this is Patton we're talking about. This is the guy that played General Patton, and he's like, you know, genuinely like freaked out by this ball coming downstairs, and you're like, well, if Patton is freaked out about this, you know, we got to be a bit worried here.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a proper Blu-ray release. I know they have one in Japan, but from what I've heard, it's very bad.
Yeah, I'd probably pick it up on Blu-ray. I have the old
Yeah,
DVD, but
yeah, so do I. But you know, it deserves better.
it deserves like a collector's edition from
Hell,
Screen Factory or something.
deserves a Criterion. Let's be honest.
Definitely. I'd
Yeah,
like a better artwork than what they have.
I know that old
The
one is.
wheelchair.
I know it's. I get it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's
but
simple, just like the movie, kind of, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of movies like that I found that, you know, don't really get the love they deserve.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
This next part of news that I heard, it was just something that I've been hearing off and on for the past 10 years, but I
Mm.
heard it's definite now, which I'm really excited for, the long-awaited sequel to The Strangers.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen they've been doing some what's the word I'm looking for? Like announcing who's going to be playing who and stuff. So it
Yeah,
looks
I
like it's
love
actually
the
working.
original Strangers.
So do I. That was a great
That
movie.
was a perfect horror movie, man.
You know what I love about that movie? If you listen to the commentary track on it,
Yeah.
and you know how they say like based on a true story and everything.
Yeah.
You know what the true story was, right?
What was it?
The director, when he was a little kid, someone at about 3 in the morning came and knocked on his door asking to use the phone.
And that's it?
That's the entire true story. So he's taken that and he merged it with the whole, you know, home invasion thing that happens, and he made one hell of a scary movie.
Yeah, that was, when I first saw that, that was one of those ones where you look around and everything.
Oh yeah.
That was, oh man.
That's one of those movies in the class of like something like Frozen.
Yeah,
That's just genuinely like primal fear.
yeah.
You know,
That was horror done perfect, man.
it was definitely. I really dug that movie.
And what's weird is the dude's follow-up film bombed
Yeah,
hard, man. That Mockingbird,
yeah,
which I thought it
yeah.
was okay, but it wasn't nowhere near The
No,
Strangers.
I think that's the thing. When you come up with something so, I don't really want to say. I don't know if iconic is the right word, but just something so awesome.
Yeah, oh, it'll 20, 30 years down the road, it'll be considered a classic.
Oh, I'm sure it will definitely. You know, but when you come out with something that's like so good, like, and then your next thing isn't.
Oh yeah, you're doomed from the
I
jump.
know, I know. It's kind of like when you look at the filmography of what's his name, Orson Welles. You know, he came out with Citizen Kane as his first movie,
Oh yeah, that's considered one of the greatest
the
films.
greatest movie ever made, and it's his first movie. Anything he does, even if it's honestly a superior movie, like Touch of Evil is a superior movie, I
Yeah,
think. But it doesn't get the love it deserves because, you know, Citizen Kane was his first movie.
yeah.
You know, it's a shame, really, but you know what you gonna do, right? I mean, at least people are still making movies and everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you got directors like Eli Roth, where to me they've kept. I mean, I know a lot of people shit on Green Inferno and
Yeah,
all that, but it's like I think he's kept a good. He hasn't had a stinker yet,
no, he
in
hasn't.
my opinion.
I mean, I don't know what to say about that remake he produced of Cabin Fever, but
Well, I don't count that because he didn't
yeah,
direct it, but he was.
no,
Cabin Fever is awesome.
I love Cabin
Hostel,
Fever.
I love. Hostel
Yep.
2, I love.
Yeah.
Green Inferno, I love. I even
Yeah.
like Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a solid director.
He needs to
You
do
know,
more, though.
he does, and I think he needs to like spread his wings a bit. He's like essentially everything is kind of like the super gory,
Yeah,
like
that's like his
almost like
trademark.
splatter films.
What do you want him
I,
to do? Something like Rob
I'd like
Zombie trying to do that hockey movie?
that would be pretty damn funny. No, I'd like to see him try his hand at something like like The Changeling, like a psychological horror film or something. You know,
You
take
know what?
what
This
he
gets
knows about filmmaking and just try something a little different.
just not rely on gore.
Yeah,
Well,
just
this leads
see
me to my
what
next.
happens.
This leads me to the next part of the news section, and I didn't even plan that when we started talking about Eli Roth.
Hmm.
Did you hear about Eli? I actually have this written down next to it. Did you hear about Eli Roth directing the new Amityville horror film?
I heard about that. I
Already, when the Amityville Awakening won't come out, and
I know the I don't know what to make with the Amityville horror stories because let's be honest, after the first story,
hey, I
everything else
like
was,
two, man.
oh yeah, well, two is,
Yeah,
that's two is essentially the true story,
yeah, I love that one.
you know, and I'll be honest, I like part three.
Oh, I have a guilty pleasure for it too.
Oh, definitely. But let's also be honest, none of them are particularly good films.
Yeah, I venture to say, man, the Ryan Reynolds one is the best out of all of them. And I know I'd
Yeah.
get crucified if all the listeners were actually with me now.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, it's the sort of thing. The first Amityville Horror is kind of boring. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you see the
You
little red
know,
eyes in the window and stuff, but
yeah,
that's about
there
it.
there there are a few things like creepy in it, but for the most part, it's kind of a bit of a boring movie.
Yeah.
And the story's been done many times. I know they did one. I actually have the Blu-ray somewhere. It's called like the Amityville Haunting or something like that, and essentially it's by the Asylum.
Oh, well, there's a
Yeah,
bunch of movies like that, like
yeah,
Amityville Theater, Amityville
yeah.
Playhouse, Amityville everything, man.
What's great about this is it's all found footage. Essentially, it's paranormal activity, supposedly set in the Amityville house.
That's pretty
I
cool.
say I say supposedly. It's not as bad as you would think, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, I love found
You know?
footage movies, man, so I'll give them all a try.
Yeah,
And you
found
know,
footage is fun when done good.
well, Asylum's put out a couple, like they had that 8120 Gacy House or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like the Asylum. I like them just simply because the fact you're never bored watching an Asylum movie.
Yeah, I mean with stuff
You,
like three-headed shark attack, you can't.
I know. You can't take them seriously, let's be honest. But, they're not trying to make, high art.
Yeah, no, they
You
know
know,
exactly what they're doing.
they know what they're doing, they know exactly what they are, they know exactly who their audience is,
Yep.
you know, and you got to respect that,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know? It's the same as with like Trauma and Full Moon.
Well, they're
You
the
know,
originators of putting out purposely
yeah,
cheesy, schlocky stuff.
yeah, and it works. I love Trauma
Well, they have some
completely.
of the biggest. Both Full Moon and Troma have two of the biggest followings in
Yeah,
horror history, pretty much.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, they've announced, they're gonna the release of Return to Nukem High Part 2.
Finally, man.
It's finally getting a release. I'm not sure when it is, but I know they've announced it.
I
I've
actually
been
really
looking
love
forward to
that
that.
first volume, man.
So do I.
You know what I
I
love
actually,
seeing too?
mhm.
Seeing a Troma release in Walmart.
I know that's
That's where
awesome.
I bought it, and it had
Yeah.
the green case and everything.
Oh yeah. I love that. I pretty much all my Trauma stuff is in green cases.
Oh, dude, I know.
And I just think it's a
I
simple
love
little
colored
thing.
cases.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got some. some black ones that I got. I forget what I got them with, but I just love them.
Yeah, well, Mondo Macabro, all
Yeah,
their releases come in red cases, which is awesome.
I know that's kind of cool.
It makes yeah, I love the idea of colored cases, man.
Yeah.
And like
I,
IFC and Vinegar Syndrome, they'll put out clear cases.
oh yeah, I like it when like especially if you get like all from one company, if you can get them all in the same color case.
Oh yeah,
Like if you could just like look at your entire collection, every green one was like a Troma one,
oh
and you'd
definitely.
be Troma. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I thought about doing that thing, where getting different colored cases to match the artwork and all that, but
Yeah,
that'd be an expensive kind of upgrade.
it would definitely. And I mean, let's be honest, most of the time, unless they're those stupid eco packs, just your standard Blu-ray case is good enough.
Dude, I can't stand the eco cases, man.
The only time I use eco cases is if it has a slipcase.
Oh yeah.
Because then, the cardboard makes up for the lack of plastic. But, sometimes you'll buy a disc and I'll kid you not, you'll pay maybe, $25 and
Like the
you'll get the
Vestron
disc.
series, man.
Yeah, and you'll open up and it's in one of these eco cases and you're like what the hell, like what am I paying for?
Exactly, and the thing is, with the only time I don't care about eco cases if it's something out of like a bin, and
Oh
you
yeah,
only pay
yeah,
$5 or $6 to begin with, then it's whatever. But if
yeah,
you're paying $27 for a Vestron release of Blood Diner, I
yeah. It
don't
damn
want
well
it in
better
an
be in.
eco case. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
yeah,
Especially when Arrow
definitely.
and Blue Underground are putting out thick,
Oh
clear
yeah.
cases, and it's like, I was listening to 22 Shots podcast, and
Mm,
they were talking about this same issue, and JP said it stuck with me ever since he said it because it
mm.
made perfect sense. He says, now when somebody goes and buys a guitar, they don't get an eco-friendly guitar case. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
should be the same thing with movies. They're paying for a guitar. They wouldn't expect holes to be cut out of the case to save the planet. It's
I
like
know.
we're putting it on our shelf. We're not throwing them all in our front yard. I don't get
No.
it.
And let's be honest, it's like the amount of plastic they take out,
It's
it's nothing.
stupid, man. It's so
And
dumb.
I mean, even they have these ones now that are like thinner, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Well, the
You, I,
Phantasm set are in those real thin, flimsy
yeah,
cases.
they're not great, but they're better than the standard eco cases with the big holes cut in them
Oh,
and
definitely,
everything.
because at least your artwork don't have dents or complete tears
Exactly.
in them.
Exactly. I remember a bit back I ordered what was it? Boys in the Hood.
Oh yeah.
And it came through and it was in an eco case. And I kid you not, I don't know what they'd done, what the mail delivery people had done, but I got there and the entire top of the case was snapped off.
Oh yeah. I've had a few releases where the part that says Blu-ray disc, on the top
Yeah,
of the cases,
yeah,
will be smashed in the corners and everything.
yeah. That entire part was broken off, and it was in an eco case as well.
Yeah, that would
Look,
drive me insane,
luckily,
man.
luckily nothing was wrong with the disc,
Yeah.
and luckily, I talked to Amazon. They refunded my money and everything, so they were really good about it. But
Yeah, Amazon's amazing with that stuff, man. That chat.
yeah, yeah, great stuff. I mean, and the thing is though, if that had been a proper case, I doubt it would have gotten that damaged.
Yeah.
But it was an eco case, so it was so much weaker. You know, it's it's one of those things.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like certain things you can understand it. Like I said, the cheap $5 things and everything. But you
Anything
know,
more than $10 even, I think you should get a
should
real
be in a proper
case.
case. Definitely, yeah.
That's why I love Criterion, Arrow, and
Oh yeah,
Blue Underground Special Editions. You know how they got those? They're the width of like a DVD case, but
yeah,
they're
yeah.
still as tall as a Blu-ray case.
Oh yeah. What I
That's
love
what I
about
love.
those, I always just get the idea. Like if you were to take a Criterion like disc, like case, and if you were to throw it across the room and someone walked in the way and it hit them in the head,
Oh, I'd knock them out.
it could do some damage.
Yeah.
You throw an eco case across the room, it hits them in the head. They get like, what was that? Was that a fly?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's no comparison really.
Yeah.
One thing I wish they would do, I wish that someone would sell Criterion cases.
In bulk.
Y- Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
the problem with that would be is your artwork wouldn't fit in it.
yeah.
The
But I mean,
spine
even
would be
then,
way too small.
I got a couple of ripped up Criterion cases. Like at my Blu-ray of House, the Japanese movie.
Yeah.
It's got like a big rip in the side. And if I want a new case, I either have to
Trim it to fit in a normal
yeah,
Blu-ray
or I
case.
have to go to Criterion's website and order a case. I'm not just going to order one single Blu-ray case.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it.
The
You
only
know,
the only way I'd ever buy separate cases, I'm cool with the ones that come with, is if I was to do the whole collection in one color.
yeah.
Like if I wanted every single case black, that's what I'd
Oh
do.
yeah, yeah. That's what I got with my Halloween box set.
Yeah. Oh
They're
yeah,
all
that's
they're
what
all
I
in black.
love. Yeah.
And actually, what I ended up doing there with I had the extended edition of the first movie, the first Halloween on DVD.
Yeah.
The long out of print extended cut. It has like scenes from like the TV version and
Would
everything.
you get a case that holds all the
I, I,
discs?
no, I got they're all like the separate ones. It's the
The
big
deluxe box set, yeah.
yeah, the deluxe box set. And what I had to do though is I had to swap out part one. I had to find another black case that would hold this extra disc that I have,
Oh, okay.
just so that I could fit it in. But it was worth it because it looks fantastic.
Oh, definitely. Man,
Yeah,
that was the release of the century, man. That was or the
it
decade.
was
That was
definitely.
when that thing blew my mind. I actually bought the deluxe 15 one first day
Yeah,
and the $70 10 disc
yeah,
one too.
yeah.
And I bought remember they released the single release of the producer's cut?
Yeah,
I even
yeah,
picked that up, man. I love that series.
yeah. It's a great series and it really works.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't
it's a
it blow your
beautiful looking
mind?
set too.
Doesn't it blow your mind they actually released a legit physical copy of the producer's cut?
I'm so glad they did. I was tired of my bootleg.
Yeah.
And the thing is, let's be honest, what it really was, a lot of people were making a lot of money on the
At
bootlegs.
conventions, yeah.
At conventions, on eBay. I got mine on eBay. I paid I think maybe like $10 for it. It wasn't much. And the quality wasn't great, but I had it,
Yeah.
you know? And I remember once they did someone did a thing where you could like write into the to Dimension or whatever and demand like the producer's cut. And
Yeah, like a
I
petition type
yeah,
thing.
I signed that as well. And it's like the fact of the matter is my thought was always I would like to support the proper filmmakers that made this, but if you're not giving us the ability to do it, we have to go to the black market and everything. We have to go to the bootlegs and
Yeah.
you know,
There's one, I'm not a huge fan of bootlegs, but there's one that I really
yeah.
want to get just because I want to see the show so bad.
Yeah.
That Freddy's Nightmares, man.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't it drive you insane there's not a physical release of Freddy's Nightmares?
Yeah. The only thing we ever got on I think it was
The Blu-ray set with the 2 episodes?
yeah, just the 2 episodes. That was it.
That's the
You
only
know,
thing I've ever seen of the show, and I loved
I
it, man.
know. It's the sort of thing. It would, yeah, maybe it wouldn't deserve like a Blu-ray release of the show,
No, no,
but
I
at,
don't
at the very
expect
least,
that,
a,
but
a DVD release.
yeah, there's enough episodes to where it could all be released in one little set.
Yeah,
They
and
did it to
and
Monsters, they did it to Twilight Zone, they did it to Tales from the
yeah,
All these shows are getting re-released, even
yeah.
Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah, hell, I picked up Kolchak the Night Stalker a couple of months back.
Yeah. What
You
do you
know,
think it
that's
is? You think it's rights or something with stuff back then?
I think it's probably rights, and I think a lot of them probably think, you know, well, there there's not like a new property in this like series, if you will, coming out, so there's no interest in it.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of companies think. And the fact of the matter is there is interest.
I know that thing would sell, well, at least I think it would sell like hotcakes, but I could be wrong. I mean, I kind
Yeah,
of only surround myself with people that worship horror, so
Yeah.
I don't really know what, how it would sell, but as far as people I'd show with, it would sell good.
Yeah. Well,
But there's
hell,
some
you know what?
stuff that I would think would sell out in a week, like that Herschel Gordon Lewis set.
Yeah.
They're still selling that thing, man, and there was only 3,000 made, so it has me like,
Yeah.
well, maybe stuff's not as popular as I'm thinking.
Well, hell, you'd think they'd even, go out of their way to like re-release things on Netflix and stuff.
Hmm.
Or like on some form of streaming.
I'd
Get it
even
out
live with
there.
that if they put it on Netflix or something.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, and I mean, let's be honest, Netflix is coming out with some pretty good stuff recently.
Oh, definitely. I give
You
it
know,
about 10 years, I'd say they'd be their own channel pretty much. Like,
I'm quite sure.
they have
Um,
enough original content by then to where they wouldn't even need any other movies or anything.
oh yeah, and now they're going into like animation and everything.
Yeah, with Castlevania and all that.
Have you seen it?
No.
I watched it. It's only 4 episodes. I
Yeah.
watched it like literally over a weekend.
Yeah. I
It
like the
it was
games.
it was great.
Yeah.
It really was. It's already been picked up for a second season,
Yeah. I knew it was going to be
and
popular. I know a lot of people were looking
yeah,
forward to it.
it's one of those sort of things. Like horror in animation is something that can really work because you can do a lot with animation.
Yeah. I'm
You
not.
can make some really gross and nasty stuff,
Oh, yeah.
you know, um, and it can work if you do it right.
Yeah.
Castlevania did it right. They took everything. Everything seemed to be like serious. There was no little like hints and winks like, oh, this is like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things, I always saw someone, they put up a tweet a couple of weeks back, and it was something, it was it was talking about anime, and it's like, so you think anime's for kids, and then it shows like this scene like someone's head on a pike or something, and it was like, well, damn.
Oh, yeah. I've
Try
seen some of
convincing,
some real intense stuff in
yeah,
anime.
try convincing people those are for kids.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's a
Uh,
whole porn subgenre dedicated to it, too.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, there's pretty much everything in anime.
Yeah.
Fun stuff, definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
one last little part of the news I wanted to get into before moving on to upcoming releases to keep your eye
Okay.
out for is just real quick. Did you hear about the sequel coming this October to House's October Built?
I heard about it. I've never got a chance to see the first one,
Oh my
but
God, man, it's
from
awesome.
from what I've seen, the trailers and everything, I really want to see that.
Oh, it's
But
actually creepy, man. It should
yeah,
still be on Netflix.
really, I'll have to take a look for that definitely,
Yeah,
because
that's where I saw it was on Netflix, and I fell in love with it, man. So I didn't think it was going to get a sequel, but the fact
yeah,
that they announced it and it's coming out in literally 2 or 3 months,
that's pretty cool.
I love releases like that where they say it's coming out in 2 months,
Oh yeah,
not like
yeah.
the Halloween thing where it'll be out in 3 years, and
Oh
by the
yeah.
time it comes out, no one will care.
Oh, I
That
hate that. I hate that when there's like coming like 2019, and you're like,
you already
dude,
know it's
I might be dead by 2019.
yeah,
It's like, come on.
and plus it's like all these horror stuff they announce gets canceled, man.
Oh,
Like
I
Friday
hate
the
that.
13th, it's on, it's off, it's on,
Yeah.
it's off.
Well,
Tales from the Crypt, they've
with
announced that 20 times.
Friday the 13th, they reckon the only reason that's off is because of Rings,
Oh yeah, because
because
you
Rings
can't.
didn't do well.
I saw Pizzowls or Pizzowl, however you ever say his name. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, the YouTube
yeah,
reviewer.
yeah.
I was watching his video discussing it, and he said that too. And that if that's the case, they need with a Paramount or who owns that now? I don't even know who
Uh,
Paramount.
I think it's Paramount. Yeah,
Well,
I think.
whoever owns. I actually don't. I think they only did the first. I don't know. Whatever. Whoever owns it
Yeah,
though, they need to put new people in charge because
yeah. Well, hell, sell the rights. Let's be honest. I mean,
it's like, look how good the video game's doing. That's
yeah,
one of the top selling video games in the past 2 months. It's like there's a want for Jason out there.
yeah. And let's be honest, that video game's not exactly top of the line.
It's an indie game.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. It's just
it's selling
it's.
more than AAA games coming out.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, one thing I found it on YouTube a bit back. It was someone had made a complete Friday the 13th movie, like a fan film.
Is it called Never Hike Alone?
I can't remember the name of it, but I remember it was like, it's like a full length, like, you know, like 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
And it was just some fans did it. And I mean,
I
if you
think it's
got
Never Hike Alone
fans,
because I
it
know it's
could
a
be.
fan film that got big.
Yeah, if you got fans that are willing to do this, you know,
There's always going to be love for Jason, Freddy, and
definitely, definitely.
Leatherface. I mean,
Speaking of Jason, did you hear about the guy that owns the head of Mrs. Voorhees?
he's they're doing replicas of it.
They're doing 3D prints of it.
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm gonna get one.
If they're not
If it's
do if
around
they're,
$100, if it's 100
yeah,
or less, I'm getting it. If it's more than 100, probably not.
yeah, I think that would be pretty damn neat to own something like that.
I
And
assume
since it
NECA's
with it
putting it
being,
out.
I'm not. I think it's just like the guy that owns it.
Oh, okay.
He's like I think originally he wanted to do like to cast it and make copies of it, but that was going to like destroy it or whatever. And then he's just discovered, you know, like 3D printing. It's working,
Yeah.
and
No,
they're
if
making
it's
the
a three
thing.
if
So
it's a 3D print, it should be under $100 for sure.
it should be. That would be cool. You could just sit that somewhere in your house and be like, "Hello, Pamela."
Yeah. See, I like horror collectibles, but it's got to be something kind of more unique, man, or something that really blows me away.
Oh yeah, well I got like two of the Nightmare on Elm Street gloves,
Oh yeah.
you know? And I love those because you can put them anywhere.
Yeah. Do you keep stuff in package or do you take it out?
I take them out.
Yeah, me too.
My
Like
whole thing is, you know, like if I've spent like on my nightmare gloves, I think I spent roughly about, you know, 70-80 bucks a piece. You know, there's one from the remake and one from the original Nightmare ones, and
is that the prices in Canada for them?
yeah,
I think you can get them down here for like 49.99.
yeah, they were quite expensive up here, unfortunately. But you know, if I'm paying that, I'm taking them out of the packaging. I'm wearing them,
Yeah.
you know, literally. What just annoyed me about it is one of them didn't have it was literally just the glove.
Yeah.
The other one came with like a hand form inside, so you
Really?
could stand it up,
Display
whatever.
them?
Yeah, that was cool. But the
Yeah,
first
that's
one
awesome.
was literally just the glove, and that one was a bit difficult because you know eventually I had
You can go to a beauty shop or something and get a fake
yeah
hand or something.
I just used some what's it called a plastic glove and like some plaster of Paris and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and just did that, and now it's stuck in a display case, you know?
You collect figures at all or no?
A few of them. I got
Yeah.
some of the old, you know, like I got like Leatherface and Michael Myers
Oh,
and
I
Freddy.
love those NECA leather faces they're releasing. Like, did you see
Okay.
the Texas Chainsaw 2 one
Yeah.
where he's in the tux and he's got the giant chainsaw?
Oh, yeah.
I had
That,
to pick that up, man. That thing was awesome.
yeah. Some of them, you know, some of them really kind of, I don't want to say worry me because they don't worry me, but it's like you'll see some and they'll be like, you know, like 170 bucks,
Oh yeah.
you know, and that's a bit rich for my taste.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm gonna pull out like 170 bucks, I could buy like a Blu-ray box set of something for that. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Well, the
you
NECA
know,
figures down here, I don't know about Canada, but for the 8-inch ones, you know, where they come in the blister pack and everything,
yeah,
those run about $25 here.
yeah, that ain't bad. You know,
Yeah, I heard they're releasing Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw 3, where he
that would
has
be
the leg brace and everything, and the saw says Saw's family on it.
that would be pretty awesome. I gotta
Um,
admit, I would love to put that in my collection.
yeah, I got to get that too, because there's a FYE here that
Yeah.
actually sells a lot of that stuff, and they have one too. I haven't picked it up yet, but it's for which is the Freddy movie where he's the doctor and stuff? Is that the Dream Child or
Oh,
the Dream Master?
uh,
I want to say
Dream.
it's the Dream Master maybe, but he's in like the
Yeah,
doctor's scrubs and he has
yeah.
like a
I know the one you mean.
he can attach
I
a
think that
chest
might
of
be the Dream
souls.
Master. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dream Master. I think.
yeah, the chest of souls is awesome.
Yeah. You know, they come out with some good stuff. I got to admit, you know, and it's the sort of thing. they certainly know how to like milk a license, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
You
Alien,
know,
dude. Alien and
oh,
Predator, man.
I know, especially what's it called? Ever since back when Todd McFarlane started doing them, you
Well,
know?
Todd McFarlane's movie Maniac series, that was
Yeah.
like the first time I ever saw horror action figures.
Oh
But the
yeah.
thing with
Yeah.
that is he knew how to do it though. You'd get like one Candyman, then he'd move on to The Exorcist, then he'd move on to Wishmaster, then he'd move on
Yeah.
to Pinhead. Where NECA, it's like, all right, we're gonna focus on Alien and Predator for 2 years. Then
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
release then we'll release a Leatherface and maybe a Pinhead.
and then
Let's
we'll go
go
back to
back to
Alien
Alien
vs
and
Predator.
Predator.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's only so many aliens and predators you can
Well, they're
make.
coming up with their own stuff now. Now they're releasing vehicles and all this
I
stuff.
know. That's pushing it. I just like, like a figure of the character.
Yeah, definitely. I want to
That,
get a
that
Michael
that's
Myers
enough.
figure so bad. Like
Yeah.
the old ones, they go for so much money. Like the
Yeah.
one with him and Dr. Loomis and everything.
Yeah.
And then there was
The
one
one
with
I
him
got's
and him
just
as a
the
kid.
old yeah. The one I got's just the old one from Todd McFarlane,
Yeah, I want to get
you
one,
know.
man.
And
Uh,
it's a pretty good looking figure, except he looks a bit derpy in the face, but other
yeah,
than
his
that,
face sculpts to me weren't the like. Did you ever see the Candyman one? The only
I
Candyman figure they ever
yeah,
released.
I got it in my display case.
Oh, you
Uh
do? His face isn't. I'm not a big fan of the face. I'm not a
no.
big fan of the hook on that one.
Well, hell, I lost the hook on mine.
Yeah, and the chest,
It
man.
broke off.
Like
I
that.
I know the little jelly
Yeah,
guts in it and everything. I know, and what it sort of annoyed me about that is they did it from
part
Candyman
three.
3.
Oh my, I know, man.
It's like, if you're gonna do a Candyman figure, do it off of Candyman 1. You know?
With the coat looks so much cooler in the first one, man.
Yeah,
Remember how it kind of tapers down and then it kind
and
of
it's like
tapers out?
form fitting and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. By the later ones, it just looked kind of like I don't even really want to say a pimp coat, but it kind of ended up
yeah,
looking like one.
yeah.
Yeah. Talking about McFarlane though, do you hear about the Spawn remake delay?
Yeah, I don't think a Spawn remake's gonna happen, man.
I don't know. He's been wanting to make it for quite a while, but
That's what makes me
apparently,
think it's not gonna happen.
and the thing is, apparently though, a lot of people have come to him wanting to make the movie, but he's got certain things he wants to produce, he wants to direct, and he wants to write.
Well, I don't know about you, but the original Spawn movie is a guilty pleasure of mine.
I really like that one,
Yeah.
just for the very simple reason, you know, again, it knows what it is.
Oh yeah.
It knows it's a comic book movie. It knows it's got all like that stuff in it, and it doesn't try to be something else. But
Yeah.
that being said, it could have been better. Let's be honest, because there's some bad CG in that movie.
Well, for the time, I think it was groundbreaking, though.
Yeah, I remember I actually saw that on a preview screening about a week before it came out.
Really?
Yeah, me and a friend of mine, we were just looking through the paper. We're like, hey, look at this. Like, preview screening of Spawn. Like, you want to go see it? Like, yeah, sure, why not? So we went.
You
And it
remember
was
the old
good.
VHS tape? It had like a holographic
Oh, yeah,
kind
the
of the eye.
lenticular thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
awesome.
that was. Of course, what we got up here, which is really kind of annoying, if you buy the Blu-ray up here, it says it's the R-rated, like, uncut version, but
But
it's
it's
not.
yeah, I have that same release where it has the French title on
Yeah,
the cover too.
yeah, and it clearly says so on the cover, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, no, I have that
you
same
know,
exact release. I got it used somewhere,
yeah,
and
you know, it
it's
it's
a
a bit
Canadian
annoying.
version when they have the French on the title too.
I hate that.
For some
And
reason, your guys' movies, when
mm,
they're down here, they're only like $2 or $3, man.
yeah,
Like French movies down here are extremely cheap, or Canadian ones, I mean.
yeah, and I don't know why, because I mean, honestly, until Scream Factory came out with it, the release of Ginger Snaps
Oh, I love that
that we
movie.
had up here was head and shoulders above the American release.
Oh yeah,
It was loaded with features, commentaries, everything. It was totally a loaded disc, and people were going out of their way in America to get it.
yeah.
I mean,
And then Scream Factory blew it out of the water.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can't go wrong with that.
I wish Scream Factory would do a double feature of Ginger Snaps 2 and 3,
That
like
would be
on one
awesome.
disc, you know?
I
Because they're not
actually
good
liked
enough.
part three.
They're good, but where they go back in time, or
Yeah,
where
I
it's
thought.
like the prequel.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. Part two I found a little odd.
Yeah,
You know, but it is what it is, right? I mean, the first one was just so great, and it's like, let's get a sequel out. Like, okay, how do we do it?
yeah. You know, part 3 has one of my favorite underrated horror actors. You ever heard of
Yeah,
Brandon Fletcher?
I know that name. I can't quite put a face to it.
And Freddy vs. Jason. You remember the kid where he's always mourning his brother, and remember he's getting cut up and he sees his brother in the bathtub and stuff. When
Yeah, yeah,
that kid, and he plays in Rampage and he plays in Leprechaun Origins and
yeah,
a ton of stuff. But I always like that dude for some reason.
yeah. I mean, it's the sort of thing. I mean, there's some
He's in
good
the third
actors.
Ginger Snaps though, so I always like that. And I always
That's
thought, not Emily Perkins, but Catherine Isabel.
yeah,
She is gorgeous, man.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's between her and Danielle Harris.
Yeah, I don't. That'd be a hard choice,
Beautiful.
man. It'd be.
Yeah.
I'd obviously pick Danielle Harris, but
Well, yeah, yeah, but
not that hard of a choice. But
yeah. So then of course all you got to do then is put in what's it called See No Evil 2 and you're set.
oh yeah, yeah. That had that. Did that have? I can't, I don't even remember. Did that have
Yeah,
Danielle Harris in it
had
too?
had Danielle Harris in it and Catherine Isabel.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I forgot a lot of See No Evil
Yeah.
too.
I actually liked See No Evil 2 better than the first one, but
Really? I
yeah.
don't know if it's just because they're into horror, but the Soska sisters,
Yeah.
I find them really attractive too, man. It may just
Yeah.
be because they're horror directors, but
It could be. I don't know, but they're obviously very talented. I mean,
yeah.
American Mary is awesome.
I dug it. I didn't think it was as good as people were making it out to be.
It
And I
is a
think
bit,
only because I've seen Strangeland and I've seen all that stuff in so many other movies,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, it's the sort of thing. If it was something completely, if you'd never seen anything else and that was the first one you saw,
Yeah.
you would definitely do the thing. But
Yeah, if you hadn't
I
seen the whole
really dug
body,
it.
I've seen weight body modification in too many movies.
Yeah,
You even had it in Hellraiser Inferno, you know?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Hell, you had it in Texas Chainsaw 4.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the less said about that one, probably the better, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, I don't even want to get into that movie, man. Yeah, I'll save that for if we're gonna do that franchise when Leatherface comes out, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like we got to do like the weekend before it comes out.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on that too.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
But let's get into these releases that I have a few written down that are out now that
Yeah.
people should have on their radar, or at least I have on my radar that I
Yeah.
haven't picked up yet that I do want to pick up. Like
Mhm.
first one I have written down is Hack-O-Lantern by Massacre Video.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, man,
I
I don't know.
remember seeing the VHS of that back when I was a kid, seeing it in the store.
Yeah, I know the cover and the font, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the movie. I don't have any clue what it's about. I just know I
Apparently
want it.
it's directed by an Indian guy, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool,
I think it's his only movie he ever made too.
Yeah, I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that and it's like real limited, man. Like
I think
I
it's like
think
3,000 or so, isn't it?
and I think it's selling out because I know Grindhouse Video posted a picture of like I guess he got like 20 of them and he said this is the
Yeah.
last shipment the distributor's letting him get.
Oh man.
So I'm probably gonna miss out on it. But I mean,
Yeah, I know what you
I
mean.
heard it's not that good, so I'm not too bummed. But I know
Yeah.
I'll pick it'll I don't know, I'll get it eventually at some point, but
Yeah.
I hope they release a version without the slipcover because I actually like the original cover a
Yeah.
whole lot better than the slipcover.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then next on my list here is August 15th. There's already a release date for the Blu-ray of Alien Covenant.
Uh, well,
I'm picking it up obviously because
So
of all
so am
the other
I.
Alien movies.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up with this, have you noticed that, remember back in the day, a
Mhm.
movie would come out in theaters and you'd have to wait almost a year for
Oh, I
that
remember
video to
definitely.
come out?
Yeah.
Have you noticed every single movie that comes out is out within 2 months? Like their
Well,
whole lifespan?
I tell you what, I know exactly the movie that started that.
What?
It was the Blair Witch Project.
The
Because
original one?
the original Blair Witch Project came out in like it was in the summer time, early fall sort of thing. And I remember because I went and saw it in the theater, and then I read in a Fangoria, I think it was, that it was coming out in time for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No,
so
but I
literally
really,
within like a couple of months, and then after that, people just started going
yeah.
with it. Well, I guess
There's
they realized strike while the iron's hot, while people are still talking about it, you know?
exactly. There's two things I wanted to bring up with that though. A, I love it because obviously you get to see it
Yeah,
quicker, because there's a lot of movies like The Cure for Wellness and the Belko Experiment.
yeah,
I didn't want to pay theater prices to see it,
no,
but they
no,
were out in Blu-ray within a month. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's like, that's cool to me. But the thing, it also worries me
hmm
because that means less people going to. It makes me like fear maybe the end of home.
like theatrical
No,
things
not
or
that, but like more of home releases, kind of. Like this all just kind of proves to me that I don't think movies are selling good at all. So it's almost like they're
yeah,
trying to push them out and sell them as quick as possible.
yeah. Well, I've always heard that like your standard movie theater don't make any money off the actual movies.
No, they get all the
It's
money
all
from
off
popcorn
all
and
the
drinks.
concessions and everything. Yeah, that's why they charge you like $15 for a bag of popcorn or something.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
joke's on them because I never get that stuff, man.
yeah, I
I bring
find
my own stuff. I've
yeah
never had a problem doing it either.
yeah I tend to get it simply. I tend to get the kids packs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the little cheap things. But there's just something about eating popcorn when you go see a movie.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
You know.
if I get a gift card
Oh yeah,
like
then you
around
use the
holidays,
best.
that I'll
Yeah.
go ham with it. But uh, the only thing I'll spring for at a movie theater is a slushy, just because there's something, or a Slurpee, or an
Yeah.
icy is what they have at theaters actually.
Yeah.
At least in America, the AMC theaters all have icy machines.
Yeah.
Just because there's
Yeah.
something awesome about drinking an icy in a movie theater.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Man,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just wanted to bring that release up just because that seemed quicker to me than normal
Yeah.
for that to be released that quick. And then I
Yeah.
have written down here too is just we're about to see a flood of Stephen King movies,
Yeah.
re-releases. I mean,
Yeah.
like, did you see the box set that has a repackaged of Salem's Lot, It, Cat's Eye, and The Shining?
Yeah. I saw that. I'm not gonna pick it up simply because I have it and Salem's Lot.
Oh yeah, you didn't pick up Cat's Eye?
I didn't pick up Cat's Eye. I've never been a huge fan of it for some reason. I don't know
Oh
why.
man, I love James Woods in that movie.
I might have to give it another shot, and because it's been a long time since I've seen it. I think I must have saw it 1993 or so.
Yeah, you
So
should
so
give it
it's
a.
been a hell of a long time.
You need to give it another shot, man, because I didn't like it first time either, and I
Yeah,
liked it a whole lot better the second time around. Like that story with the mobster, remember, and the ledge and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
I th
I enjoyed it a lot second time.
I think I might give it another shot then.
You can pick it up for like $8.
Yeah.
Well,
So
here I don't know about there.
probably about 10 or 15 over here, but even that's not that bad.
No, I mean
You know.
it's a good movie. And to me, I kind of want to collect every Stephen King
Yeah.
movie. But
Stephen King's one of those people. I mean, the movies tend to be hit or miss.
yeah, but there's still some enjoy about them.
Yeah,
Just because I mean, 80% of them are made for TV.
that's true.
Even the
That's
one, did you
very
see
true.
Desperation with Ron
I
Perlman and stuff?
I remember seeing that. I think when it was on TV actually.
Yeah. I didn't like it on TV, but I saw it pretty recently in the DVD, the whole thing, and I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of the thing also with the when they did the made-for-TV movies of stuff and everything was like it would sometimes it would be spread across nights, you know,
Yeah, like 2 or 3 nights.
which was kind of cool, but in another sense, you know, you weren't getting the whole story at once. You were waiting and it was broke up and everything. I don't know,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, it works really well as like a single narrative if you just start it and watch right to the end.
Oh yeah.
You know, then again, it also works with the break in the middle. You know.
I watch it. It all depends what kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll watch it all in one sitting, or sometimes I'll actually, because it is a long movie to sit in one
Oh
thing,
yeah.
especially if
Yeah.
you started it. Because usually don't like to watch horror movies in the middle of the day.
I know what you mean.
Like I gotta have it pitch black when I'm watching a horror movie,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
also always put the subtitles on. I don't know. I usually start my horror movies usually around like 10 or 11,
Yeah.
and I'll usually watch them up to like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like my perfect time. So, but like if I'm out doing something and I get back at midnight, 1 in the morning, like
Yeah.
there's cases like that where I'll watch the first half and then second
Yeah.
half the next night.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, with the original version of it, for example, um, there's been times when I've literally watched the first half and then just stopped,
Oh yeah,
just simply because
it's a better
I
first half.
yeah, you know, all the stuff in the 50s is pure gold,
Yeah, and back
and then you know,
so it brings it back to the new one.
yeah,
That's what bums me out is that we're gonna see the first half, and then we're gonna have to wait over a year to see the second half.
I know that's kind of I don't know. Well, who knows?
It's
If
cool and bad at the same time.
it's the sort of thing. If maybe if it does really well, maybe it'll get a earlier release.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm real curious to see who they would cast as these older kids too.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna show any of them in the first one,
No, I doubt it.
or whether it's just gonna be literally like two
Oh, I
separate
see what you
movies.
mean. Like in the original, how you'd see the shot of them as older and then go
Yeah,
into the yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think if that was the case, those names would have been revealed already.
I would have assumed so.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good though.
yeah. Oh, all right, and yeah, that's what I just wrote down. Just get ready for the flood of Stephen King re-releases,
Yeah.
and and the next release coming out July 25th from Vestron.
Mhm.
Do you have any of the Vestron titles, or have you
I
not
I
got them?
don't have any of them. I've been meaning to pick up Chopping Mall
But you're
and
not willing to give up the arm and leg they want for it?
exactly. You know, and I'll stick with my DVD for now. You
Yeah.
know, and also I wanted Return of the Living Dead 3, but again, it was just I didn't want to shell out those prices.
Yeah, they're insane for it. But
Yeah,
anyways, did you actually one of the releases I did like a lot from them was that Wishmaster quadrilogy.
I so wanted to pick that up,
Oh, I
but
love the Wishmasters,
up
man.
here it's like, you know, $65.
Wow. Yeah, down here I think it goes steady for like 35, 36.
See, that's reasonable,
For
you
four
know?
movies, yeah, but
Yeah.
when Blood Diner and Chopping Mall and all them came out,
And they're like the same price sort of
they're
thing.
$27 a release.
Yeah.
And they
Up
still keep steady giving you eco-friendly cases.
yeah. Up here they're about $35 a piece.
Oh my God.
And you know,
Did
I
you hear
go I
this?
one?
Did you hear this whole thing with the Unholy?
No.
With these slipcovers, I guess.
Yeah.
Who is like Diabolic DVD or something sent them out
Mm,
with slipcovers, and Amazon, Grindhouse Video, all Bull Moose, all these
mhm.
sites, and we're getting them shipped from the distributor with no slipcases. So all these
Uh
people were complaining, and it was like a big thing because if you've collected all 10 of them so far and you have all the slip covers,
yeah.
it looks
I know
beautiful
what
on a
you mean.
shelf,
Yeah.
especially if you pre-order them.
Yeah.
And if you pay $30 on a pre-order to get it to make sure you have the slip and you don't get it,
Yeah. You should be getting
that's
the slip
messed
of
up.
that, definitely.
I like
Yeah.
Diabolic, but the thing is though, if they're getting exclusive after exclusive, and I don't like that. I don't like
I know
having
what you
one
mean.
place to get it. You know what I mean? I
I know, like they
like the
did with
Void
the
Blu-ray.
Void. Yeah,
That pisses me off, man. I
yeah.
do a lot of my ordering on Grindhouse and Amazon.
Mm,
I've only ordered one time from Diabolic, but
yeah,
to get Code Red because they even have the exclusives to Code Red Blu-rays.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they were like timed exclusives.
Exactly, like
You
Walmart
know,
does.
yeah, like we have it exclusively here for like 3 weeks or like a month or whatever, and then other places will get it. I'm
I,
totally fine with that. You
wouldn't you
know,
think Astron 6 would think, hey, more people order on Amazon? Let's put the Blu-ray on Amazon? Like,
yeah.
in what world were they thinking
I don't
Diabolic?
know.
Because true horror fans know about Diabolic, but
Yeah,
the mass don't know about that site, man. It's
no. Or what I always thought they should do is they should have like Diabolic should have like exclusives for them. You know, like
yeah,
like have
like a
have a
cover or
Blu-ray.
something, or a
Yeah,
special feature even.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
Or like
I don't.
Diabolic, they do the exclusive slip covers for Blue
Yeah,
Underground stuff.
yeah.
That's fine and dandy to me, but to
Oh yeah,
have a
definitely.
whole Blu-ray exclusive,
Yeah.
because not only that you can only get one place, but then you have a flood of people going over there, and they sold out of the Void in like the
Oh yeah.
first week. So it's
Oh yeah, and then of course, then you know what happens. They go there, they buy it, then they head over to Amazon and they resell it on Amazon for like double the price.
oh yeah, I just bought the DVD off Amazon just because I
Yeah.
was like, that's kind of bullshit what they're doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll pay the $12 for the DVD.
Yeah. It's you know it's I don't know how to put it. I guess it's a good business strategy. It brings custom to your site and everything, but it also seems a little, I don't know if disingenuous is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
It
I mean, I
seems a
can't
bit,
say I don't get it from a business standpoint. If I'm
yeah,
looking at it strictly as a business, I
yeah,
obviously get it. But
but
the
it's
thing
still a
is,
bit of a
though,
dick move.
you're a business and a group of fans that are really, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just like, it's hard to be greedy in a world. I can't explain it too well, but you know what I'm saying, though. It's
yeah,
just, I don't know. You don't want to be greedy to the people that,
that are paying your bills.
exactly. It's like,
Yeah, I
I don't
get it.
know. Especially because Astron 6 are amazing, you know?
Yeah,
And it's like, for you to just go, we get it, you want an exclusive, but don't limit
yeah,
it. You're basically limiting it to where less people are going to see the movie.
yeah.
So
You know,
though I get it, you'd rather have more money, but it's like if it comes at the sake of people witnessing the movie,
yeah, and let's be honest. Like, say they sold like 1,000 copies through Diabolic.
yeah.
As opposed to they may not get as much, but they sold like 6 or 7,000 through Amazon.
Oh, if they put it on Amazon, it'd sell a ton more copies.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people, they probably just hear diabolic.com. You know, you go to the site, you'd feel more comfortable buying off Amazon
oh
than
yeah,
you would Diabolic. You know, Diabolic is a really trustworthy site. Don't get me
oh
wrong.
yeah, oh
I'm not
yeah.
saying anything
I
like
love it
that.
personally, but
But if I was Joe Schmo, you know, going to that
yeah,
site, know nothing about it, to be
I know.
honest, it would sketch me out a little bit.
Well, the first time I bought off it was just a bit back, and I got a Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox, My Red Guts, and Tumbling Doll of Flesh. And honestly, I'd been to the site before, but I never really knew about it. I actually had to go online and look at like reviews of the site
To see
to
if it
find
was
out
trustworthy.
like is this a trustworthy site? Like how are they for shipping? How fast are they for shipping? Or
Yeah,
is are they do they have good shipping rates?
that's one of my biggest concerns when it comes to these mom and pop type sites is
Yeah.
the shipping.
I know that's one good thing about Amazon always, buy over X amount of dollars or whatever and you get free shipping.
Yeah,
I always think that's I kid you not, one time what was it I'd got? I'd bought like a DVD or something. I forget what it was. And it was going to cost like $15 for shipping or something.
oh yeah.
So I spent like an extra, $5, got it over the limit and I got free shipping.
Oh yeah.
You know, that
Well,
that's the sort
and
of
they
thing.
have those add-on items too, where they are exactly $5
Oh yeah,
just for that sole purpose.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, like that Pulse Blu-ray from Mill Creek was only
Yeah,
$5 as an add-on item. I only needed
yeah,
like three and change to get the free shipping, so it's like, yeah, let's add it.
yeah. And I mean, also it gets your stuff out there,
Yeah, exactly.
which is
And
cool.
it's just stuff you wouldn't buy normally, but it's cool to have.
Exactly. It's literally the equivalent of like when you're in a store
And there's
and
candy
yeah, and
at
you're
the
coming out and there's a
aisles.
candy bar and you buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
that's yeah. The only, yeah.
Yeah.
With the next release I wanted to get to was August 15th. There's a release of Don't Torture a Duckling that Arrow I think is releasing.
That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I
I've
like.
I've never actually seen that movie, but I've been wanting to.
Yeah, it's pretty good, so I'm excited about that. Now
Yeah.
this next release, I'm
hmm
super excited for, man.
hmm
The Resurrected,
I
September
love
12th
that
with
movie.
yeah, Chris Sarandon.
Yeah. I
Oh
kid you
man,
not.
I've
I
never seen
actually
it, but I want to see it
oh,
so bad, man.
I will tell you right now,
It's out of print, so I've never seen it.
you will love it.
I'm sure I will,
I gotta
man.
say, I gotta tell you this. I went out of my way to buy the German Blu-ray
Oh yeah, how good does
because
it look? Because I'm sure it's
it
gonna be the same transfer.
it is magnificent.
Yeah.
And the
Are you
thing is,
gonna
of
buy the
course,
Scream Factory release or no?
I don't know because I mean, the one I got's pretty damn loaded. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of good stuff. I'm gonna see if they have like some different features on the screen. I might consider picking it up.
I don't. It may be a new transfer too. I don't know. I
It
doubt it
could
though.
be. All I know is the one from Germany is beautiful.
Yeah.
Of course, the thing is, when it was on DVD, it was only full screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to have the old VHS of it, and I never got rid of it simply because it was a widescreen print,
Wow.
and the DVD didn't have one, but it
All I gotta hear, man.
really solid.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love
Yeah,
it when these companies release movies I've never seen.
yeah, and let's be honest, also though, directed by Dan O'Bannon,
Oh yeah, I did not know
so
that, but that
yeah,
actually is really cool.
did Return
All
of
I
the Living
had to
Dead, so
hear, yeah, and Alien. Well,
yeah,
it didn't direct Alien, but
wrote it.
yeah. All I had to hear was Chris Sarandon and H.P. Lovecraft.
I know
That's all
they,
I had to hear, man.
and it works so well.
I know.
It's honestly one of my favorite H.P. Lovecraft versions.
Well, to this day, Dagon or Dagon, however you say it, is my favorite H.P.
I
Lovecraft
love,
adaptation.
yeah, Dagon's great.
I can't imagine it being better than that, but that's a hard thing to measure up to.
Yeah, well, they're very different movies.
Yeah.
Like Dagon's got the whole Shadow over Innsmouth stuff, where the Resurrected is what is it? It's the case of Charles Dexter Ward. So it's a very different type story, but it works really well.
You know what's funny about Dagon every time I see it? You ever
hmm
see that YouTube video back in the day? It was huge, Old Greg or something like that, or
I think I
it
did.
was like
Yeah,
a sea dude in the bottom of the. It was so stupid, but man, every time I
yeah.
watch it, I think of that.
I just love Dagon simply because it has the old crazy guy
Oh yeah,
who you can't understand without subtitles.
yeah. No, I gotta watch that thing. I'll probably double feature it with the Resurrected when it comes out.
That that
We may have to
that
do an H.P. Lovecraft episode.
oh,
Put
I would love to
Reanimator
do a
in there, and
Lovecraft.
what's some more? You got a Necronomicon if we could find some kind of copy
Yeah,
of that.
there's From Beyond.
Oh yeah, can't believe I forgot. There's even the one Masters of Horror episode,
Oh yeah, the
Dreams of
Tales,
a Witch.
Dreams in the Witch House. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I kid you not, the best H.P. Lovecraft movie ever made, the Call of Cthulhu from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
really.
It's awesome.
I've heard of it, but I never saw it.
I kid you not, it's about 40 minutes long. It's all in black and white, and it's filmed as if it was like 1923.
Wow. Are you able to get
So
it on Amazon and stuff, or no?
Yeah, I think you can still get it on Amazon. It's a great flick. It's a silent film. It's lit like when you think of like Nosferatu,
Yeah.
just like Nosferatu, except it's Lovecraft.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check
And
that
it
out for sure.
works. It really does. That and Whisper in Darkness. They're both from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, and
I think I see ads
they
for them all the
rock.
time in like Room Org or something like that. I always
Yeah,
see.
probably. They're really superior. Well, they're people that obviously know Lovecraft,
Oh yeah.
and they've made this entire filming technique called mythoscope,
Yeah, is
and
this
they
all part of that festival? There's the Lovecraft festival they do.
they do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but stupid cat. Cat just bit me. Um, yeah, they have a genuine love for the subject matter, and it shows.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
know what you mean. I'm gonna have to check those out because I am a big H.P.
yeah.
Lovecraft fan.
Definitely check out Call of Cthulhu because it is by far the single best Lovecraft adaptation ever.
Yeah.
Because it is Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
at
it's
some
got
point
some
this year, let's do it.
kick-ass stop motion in it too, like old school.
Like
Like,
Ray Harryhausen.
yeah,
Yeah, at some
and
point this
it
year we
just
got to do an
rolls.
episode of it.
Definitely. I'm a big time Lovecraft fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my Elder sign tattooed on my arm and everything. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's pretty cool, man.
yeah.
The only horror-based tattoo I have Pinhead on my leg,
Oh yeah.
and I have Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I think those are the only.
Oh, oh,
I got a
that's
Misfits Fiend skull too, if you consider that horror.
I love the Misfits Fiend skull.
I know, man. That was my
It,
first tattoo I ever got. 16 years old.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah, my
It
mom and stepdad had just been going through a divorce. You know, she was all obviously depressed and all that, and being 16, young and dumb, I took advantage of that
oh yeah.
situation. Was like, hey, you want to sign for a tattoo?
Yeah. They're like, okay. Oh, I love tattoos. I really do.
Yeah.
And especially I saw one I think it was in a Rue Morgue a couple of years back. Someone had a portrait of Vincent Price done.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
they have that article where the people show off tattoos.
yeah, and this particular tattoo was it was beautiful. It really was.
Yeah.
And it was just like name another genre of movie where people will get tattooed.
Um,
Can you think of one really? Maybe superheroes?
I know a lot of people that get like pop culture tattoos in general. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of Tim Burton stuff gets tattooed.
Yeah, but let's be honest, that's got some horror roots in it as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I know my buddy had Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York tattoo.
Yeah.
Just like pop culture icons like that.
Yeah, but you never see anyone like, this is my tattoo of Titanic.
Yeah. You know, my Tom Cruise sleeve.
Yeah, exactly. You never hear of it.
Yeah.
But how many Vincent Price tattoos have you heard of, or how many
Oh,
Boris Karloffs? You know?
yeah. Well, I made a joke too, or well, someone made a joke to me when I got the Misfits tattoo. They were like, "Wow, you now just joined a group of about 2 million people that have the same exact tattoo." And it's funny,
Well,
the pin when I got the pinhead tattoo,
hmm
I didn't know this when I had went to the artist. The
hmm
artist had pinhead tattooed on his arm too.
oh, that's
And
awesome.
I found that out after walking in asking for pinhead.
What's good about that? You always know they're gonna do a good job.
Oh yeah, especially if they're a fan enough to get it too.
Oh yeah, what I always thought would make a really cool tattoo is you get the Hellraiser box.
Oh yeah.
You
I
get
did
it
think about
opening.
adding to it, you know when it was like like the long pyramid in part 2?
Oh yeah,
I'd love
yeah,
to get it like that.
yeah.
And get like
I
the whole labyrinth on the bottom, the maze and everything.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to get the box with it open,
Oh
hooks
yeah.
coming out of the box, and those hooks then hooking into your skin.
Oh yeah, and maybe get like in blood lettering, like Jesus wept or something.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
It's the
even
sort of
get a
thing,
tattoo of Frank with the hooks in his face. You know.
That's kind of awesome.
I know, man.
I love tattoos simply just because you always got a story.
Oh yeah.
And if someone sees like a pinhead tattoo and they're like, what's that? And you're like, oh, my friend, sit down. I
Oh
have
yeah.
such a tale to tell you.
Oh, if they ask what Pinhead is, I don't even continue talking to them.
I know it's kind of like, yeah,
Yeah, man. See,
yeah,
what's funny, man, is a lot of my more elaborate tattoos I got when I was younger. It's like now that I get older, a lot of the tattoos I get are on a whim. Like I was
yeah,
at a buddy's house and he had a tattoo machine, and I was like, yeah, I haven't gotten in a while. I just did one myself, so I have on my arm. I just wrote
yeah.
"Ain't No Half Steppin'" because of
Well,
the
there you
Big
go.
Daddy Kane song.
Yeah.
But it's like stupid stuff like that, you know. But
Well,
you
when
only
I
live
was
once,
fun,
so it is what it is.
I always find I get tattoos whenever I go on holiday.
Yeah.
So every one of my tattoos, I can say I was, well, let's be honest, most of them are from England. So I'm like, I got this one when I was in England this time. I got this when I was in England this time. I got this when I was in England this time.
Oh, is
You
your
know?
family from England or something?
Yeah, yeah. My parents actually just came back from holiday there, so got a whole
Okay.
bunch of Blu-rays.
Oh
So I'm
yeah.
quite happy about that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's the sort of thing you always got this reminder of when you were there. Hell,
Yeah.
I always remember I went there quite a few years ago, and I had a tattoo on my left shoulder. I think it was. It was just a little Chinese symbol, and I didn't really want it anymore, so I got a cover up.
Was it right
And
next to your tribal and Tasmanian devil tattoo?
yes, right,
No,
right
I'm
next
just
to it.
kidding.
No, no. So I actually got it covered up with a tribal like thing that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But what was really weird about it is this: I got this tattoo, and for about 2 months afterwards, it was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to this day,
The
if my arm,
tattoo was hot?
the tattoo was hot, it was slightly warm, and I think he used a really long needle.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a really good tattoo artist. Everything was clean and everything. He got out of the autoclave and everything, but I think he went really deep.
Really?
Because to this day, if my arm gets cold, there one edge of the tattoo puffs up a bit.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
I know. I've been to other tattoo artists and they're like kind of like, yeah, I think he went a bit deep there.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, man, to the next release though,
Yep.
I want to one is out now currently, and I do want to pick it up. Have you heard of that Victims from Slasher Video?
It's very familiar. I just can't quite place it.
Oh, it's one I want to check out just because you've heard of Slasher Video, right? They
Yeah,
released Devil's Blade and Man Eaters and a bunch of other stuff.
that's cool.
But I want to pick that up. And then the two last ones. This one
Hmm.
was released a while ago, or announced a while ago. I
Hmm.
just, I'm not going to get it, but I want to hear your opinion on it.
Hmm.
Is that Arrow release of Children of the Corn?
I'm gonna get it
Are you really?
simply because I don't have an older version.
Oh, you didn't get the Image Blu-ray or anything?
No, never picked that up. I was going to, just never got around to it, and I can't seem to find it anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's out of print now, that original
yeah.
Blu-ray. And remember they
So
had it double featured with the original
yeah,
Hellraiser.
yeah, they had that, and then for a while they had that and Sleepwalkers together.
Yeah, yeah.
Sleepwalkers is one I'd like to see a Scream Factory or Arrow release of.
Yeah, I have it on DVD, but I never
Yeah,
picked up that Blu-ray, so I would. But yeah, this Children of the Corn, I had it on VHS, I had it on two different DVDs, I have it on Blu-ray, so it's when
yeah,
I love the cover they announced
yeah,
for it, but
yeah,
I'm not picking it up. I mean, I've seen that movie so many times now.
yeah. I'm gonna pick it up just because I don't have a Blu-ray release of it.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
if it has like
simply
some
because of that.
if it has like a big documentary or something,
Oh
maybe
yeah,
I'll pick it up. But if it don't have a documentary over a half hour, I'm not gonna pick it up.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Because that's my favorite kind of special feature besides
Oh, I love
commentaries is
documentaries.
like a documentary that's over in a half hour.
Oh yeah, well, my one of my all-time favorite documentaries of all time was on the original The Thing.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what
You
you're
know,
talking about.
The Thing horror takes shape or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll put that in to this day. I'll put in the Scream Factory Blu-ray and just watch that. Won't
yeah,
even bother with the movie. I'll watch that making of documentary.
yeah. Well, did I tell you last time about that Hellraiser Scarlet box?
Yeah,
The main
the
reason I bought it was A, because of I got it signed by Pinhead, but B, or Doug Bradley, but B is it includes that whole documentary, uh,
yeah,
Leviathan or something,
yeah.
or yeah, Leviathan, the story of Hellraiser one. It's one, two. What got me sold on that though is
Hmm.
there's over 40 minutes discussing Hellraiser 3.
That's pretty sweet.
I love that movie.
Hellraiser 3 is good. Have you seen the unrated version of Hellraiser 3? It has stuff cut into it from like I think like a VHS source and everything.
I don't know. Is it part of that Scarlet box?
I'm not sure if it's part of the Scarlet box, but I
If it's
got
not part of the Scarlet box, then no.
yeah, I got the German Blu-ray, like the
Oh, okay.
media book version, and it has it on it, and it's like you watch it, and like there are very noticeable cuts in quality.
Yeah.
Like you'll be watching the movie, and then all of a sudden, like it'll go literally to a VHS print. You know, it doesn't look super great, but it's awesome to see all like the gore put back in.
Oh, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
the only release I had of it before the Scarlet box was remember that Miramax
oh
collection
the
where it was just a DVD case with all six
yeah,
sequels in it.
yeah,
So I saw it on a really that version. So
yeah. If you get a chance to see the uncut version, like the one I was just talking about, definitely see it because it's 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 one of those things where you see the amount of stuff that was taken out,
yeah.
and it almost makes you weep,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Well,
And like,
the thing with the Scarlet box too is I guess on I don't know if it was part one or part two, but I guess there was a surgeon scene cut
oh
out.
yeah, from part two, yeah.
But I guess on the Scarlet box on the back of it it says the first time ever being released on a home video format, that scene, but it was a pretty forgettable scene. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah, it was
anything
nothing
that needed to
special.
be in it.
But when you
I
put it
like it
on
as a
like the
bonus
back
feature though.
cover, yeah, when you put it on the back cover of the movie, you know, it's a little,
Oh yeah.
you know, the VHS, the back cover, and you're like, well, where's this scene?
Yeah.
You know, I think probably, you know, people had seen screenshots of it for so long, they probably, you know, had this idea in their mind of what this scene was going to be.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, have you heard they're going to be releasing the Cabal cut of Nightbreed?
Yeah, but did you hear it has like a $200 price tag?
Yeah, it's the sort of thing.
It's being released by Clive Barker directly.
Yeah, from Seraphim Films and everything. Honestly, I'm tempted
Really?
because I love Nightbreed.
So do I. I mean, I'm a diehard Clive Barker fan. I mean, I
Yeah,
got Pinhead tattooed. He's my favorite actor. Well, Doug Bradley. I just love everything Clive
yeah,
Barker. I even love Lord of Illusions.
yeah.
I'm super hyped for Rawhead Rex. It's just,
Oh, so am I.
I know, man.
That movie is horrible,
Oh yeah,
but
I've never even seen it, man.
you haven't. It's quite bad,
Well, you know how out of print
but
that
it's
was, dude?
so fun.
Yeah, it was out of print forever, so I never got a chance to see it. But the
Yeah,
fact that I'm glad I waited because now it's getting a 4K restoration.
I don't know whether it really deserves a 4K restoration,
Did you
but
hear it's even getting released in theaters again?
oh my God, is it?
Yeah, they put out a poster for. I mean, it's gonna be a real limited thing,
Oh yeah. Well,
but
honestly, I hope it does good
yeah. Oh, I'm
because you
sure. Well,
know,
that's a real request. People requested that for a long, long time.
yeah.
Matter of fact, a company's releasing it that came out that I didn't expect to release it, and Kino.
Oh, Kino
Yeah,
releasing it. Yeah.
Kino's releasing it. Because I actually expected Vestron to release it,
Yeah, I could have seen that.
but Kino came out of nowhere with it.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the more Clive Barker we get in the world, the better.
Oh, definitely.
You know, like, and especially like with the Cabal cut of Nightbreed, um, apparently it's got 40 more minutes, even over the director's cut.
See, I'm completely satisfied with the director's cut. I
Oh,
was even
it's
completely
very awesome.
satisfied with the theatrical. I actually like the theatrical cut because I like seeing more of David Cronenberg's character.
That's true. That's always a good thing.
Yeah. But this last
Yeah,
release, which had me real excited, man, I just read this yesterday. I
yeah.
guess they're putting out a special 4K transfer of 976 Evil.
Are you
I have,
serious?
yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I
I
missed
don't
that.
remember who it was releasing it. Oh, Sony directly. It's not even a specialty company, but this October, Sony's releasing a 4K transfer of 976 Evil.
I don't know what to make of that.
I'm excited, man. I mean, I have the old DVD. It's been out of print
Yeah.
for a while and stuff, but I do really enjoy that movie.
I
I
love the
think
fact
it's
that they're willing to release this stuff. You
I
know,
know I
it's
think
not.
it's Robert Englund's only directorial
Yeah.
movie.
I wonder if maybe it was some kind of um, you know, contractual thing, like
I don't know what
they
the deal
they
is.
had to re-release it or something. I don't know.
It's
Or maybe
weird,
there's
man,
just been
because
people talking. I don't know.
I don't know. It's definitely a good time to be a horror fan in general.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, man, I'm excited for that for some reason. And then there's one more release I wanted to talk about that I know you'll really love.
Yeah.
Uh, it's did you hear Lionsgate's releasing American Psycho 2 on Blu-ray this October?
Oh, that's kind of funny.
I can't even believe they'd even I mean, 976 Evil and stuff you could get. Even Rawhead Rex is, from what I hear, a bad film. But
Yeah,
there's still demand for it. I
I
would
know.
love to meet the person
The
asking for
once
American Psycho
American Psycho
2.
2. I wonder again, maybe if it's something along the lines of maybe to keep the rights or something. Maybe they
I
got to
don't know what the deal
keep it
is with that,
released or
man.
something. I don't know.
It's like out of all the movies Lionsgate could have released,
I know.
even I'd rather have Blair Witch Book of Shadows on Blu-ray.
So I actually like that
I
movie.
know I do too, but what I'm saying that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying though. It's
Yeah.
like you're gonna release American Psycho 2, but you ain't gonna release Book of Shadows
Yeah.
because they're even I want to I don't know. Yeah, that weirded me out, but I didn't write it
Yeah.
down. It just popped in my head. Just
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of a strange choice to release.
yeah, man.
You know, because well, I mean, I get it. The first one was awesome, but part two is just completely forgettable.
Yeah. You know what I'm laughing at too is you were probably expecting some real big release, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like American Psycho 2. It's like, oh yeah.
You
Like, oh
know,
yeah, they made that, didn't they?
yeah. I bought the DVD for like $4 or $5 years
Yeah.
ago, and I was even disappointed paying $5 for it.
Yeah.
It was just you've seen it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, it's rough, man. And I'm not even saying that because that's the thing to say. It's really bad.
It just is. Yeah.
They even have her clothes has the American flag on them and everything. It's like you can't
Oh
be more obvious.
no. It's it's not a good movie.
Yeah, and then you have Mila Kunis narrating the whole. Yeah, that's a whole discussion for another time,
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Well, let's get into
Oh
our
yeah.
two featured reviews here.
Okay.
Now, Maniac, 1980.
Yeah.
When was the first time you saw this?
The first time I saw that was probably uh was on VHS, I know that. So probably maybe early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what did you watch it on this past time? Whenever you
I
watched it this week?
I watched it on the old Elite DVD.
You never picked up a Blu-ray copy of this?
No, and I'm really regretting it.
This is a movie that I feel like If any movie needs to be bought on Blu-ray, it's this one, man.
Yeah, I need to pick it up because I mean honestly, I love Maniac as a movie, but I was so disappointed watching it this time.
Because
It's
of how
been
grainy and soft
yeah,
it is.
it's been years since I watched it, and I kid you not, there are parts at the beginning where I couldn't tell what was going on because there was that much grain. So
Well,
much so that I took the disc out and looked at it to make sure it didn't have like disc rot or something.
are you talking
You
about the
know?
opening scene on the beach?
Yeah,
Yeah, even well, the thing is, even on the Blu-ray, that scene's really washed out.
yeah, but I mean like literally like I at one point I couldn't even tell it was a beach.
Oh, really?
It was horrible,
Yeah,
and and it's a disservice to the movie really because the movie's a really solid movie.
yeah, man. I
You know?
love man. Even watching it again, it just solidifies that this is. If I was to make a top 10 list of movies, this would
Yeah.
be in it, man. This.
Oh, definitely. It's a great movie.
Oh man, I can't say enough good things about it. Really.
Yeah. I'm just
Let's
so
start it off with Frank Zito or Joe Spinell.
yeah. I thought that his performance was awesome.
I don't think you could pick anybody better. Like
No.
the moment I realized he was perfect for it is you remember the scene where Joe Spinell picks up that prostitute and they go in that room. And remember
Yeah.
he's just laying on the bed, real
Yeah.
silent. Remember he just has his head. He's just looking at her, and
Yeah, and
just
then
the
you're
look on his
yeah.
face was just creepy
Yeah.
looking.
What I loved about it also though is the characterization as a whole, you know, he's not a monster.
No, he actually he wa-
He's just a really broken person who
well,
does monstrous things,
yeah.
you
Well,
know?
that's what I like about the original one is they kind of
Yeah.
hint about his past, like him talking to his mom, and they
Yeah.
kind of hint at the sexual abuse type stuff. But
Yeah.
that, like, we'll get into the remake after this. But
Yeah.
that's what I love about this one is it just hints at it. You're just
Yeah.
hearing him talking or the voices in his head, and
Yeah, it's
so you know
enough.
there was something crazy happening back when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So you understand it, but man, I just
Yeah.
can't get over how creepy Joe Spinell was in this.
Oh yeah. What I also loved about it was the fact that I don't know whether it was just his performance or the way they had him looking, but he felt so like grimy.
I actually wrote down right on my notes, just sleazy, man.
Yeah, and but it works. It works on
I
so many
know.
levels.
You know what
You know?
scene I love in this thing? You remember when the woman she gets off the train or the subway? Remember
Oh
he
yeah.
gets off the subway and he's
Yeah.
chasing after. But you remember when the she goes and she's hiding in the stall or whatever? And remember
Yeah.
Joe Spinell literally looks at the camera?
Yeah.
It almost breaks the fourth wall for a split second
Yeah.
because he looks directly at you.
Yeah, I know,
And
and it's
that
almost
was
like to say like, yeah, I
like
know
we're
what you
there,
mean.
like he knows we're there watching. Like
Yeah.
that whole part, it actually sent shivers down just the way he looked at you.
Yeah.
It was, man, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's a really solid performance, and it's a performance honestly that should have got more praise than it did.
Yeah, I mean, I know Joe Spinell played in very little things like The Undertaker and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but it's like, how did he not get more parts? Even if it was
Oh
just him
yeah,
playing a psycho again, it's just
I
like,
know. He was like perfect.
I
Let's
know.
be honest. He is for Maniac what Anthony Perkins was for Psycho.
Yeah, and it's like, how
You
did he
know?
not get more work? And from what I
Exactly.
understand, like from what I've heard, there's a mystique about him. Like I guess the people that filmed with him, they'd actually hang out with him in New York at night, and I guess he is a weird dude in real life. Like
Yeah.
there's something cool about him though too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just it just works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He
So like
fits
let's
the
look.
character perfect. It's almost as if, like Frank Zito isn't a character. It's like they just took Joe Spinell and put him on the screen.
Oh yeah, like it
And
almost
maybe
seems
maybe
genuine.
turned
Like
him up a
you're
bit.
like
Yeah.
almost like I'm trying to think of an act like Will Ferrell or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you see him, it's Will Ferrell. You know, you don't
Yeah.
really think of him as the character's name. But
No.
Joe Spinell's the same way with this.
Yeah.
But and like I love the even the way he dresses. Like you remember when he's sitting in that photographer's studio
Oh yeah,
and
and
he's
he's
got them big glasses and
I know.
he just I don't know, he was awesome in this.
Yeah, he really was.
Like
And it was just a really solid flick all
yeah,
around, you know.
definitely. And then
And
this had Tom Savini's great effects in it.
oh yeah, I love that exploding head.
Well, I think that's I think that may be the most famous scene in the whole thing.
I think so.
But rightfully so, man. That
Yeah.
was besides Scanners, that's the best head explosion scene I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
just the whole
Well,
way it went down, like with the car lights turning on and
oh
Frank
yeah, and then
Zito
just
just
there.
standing there in the like the mist or the smoke or whatever.
Yeah. And
And then
it's that couple of seconds when he looks up, he sees him,
and there's
and
like
it's
a
like there's
pause.
like a beat,
Yeah.
and it's like almost like it's like oh shit.
Yeah, and they just the way he jumps on
Then he
the hood of the
jumps on
car.
boosh. Yeah,
Oh man, that was sick. Yeah,
definitely.
I had a really good time watching this thing, man. It
Oh yeah.
it don't get old.
I just need to get a Blu-ray of it because honestly, it took me out of the movie watching it in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's two different versions of the Blu-ray. I have the
Yeah.
first version
Hmm.
where the Blue Underground put out originally, and then
Yeah.
they like 3 years later they released a 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
You know, I have the first release, but I'm really tempted to get the 30th anniversary release because there's a lot more
Yeah.
special features, and I hear there's an Easter egg. Like if you
Oh.
go to the special features menu on the
Hmm.
Blu-ray, and then you click over, the word Maniac will highlight, and if you
Oh, that's
click it, it's like a half hour of Joe Spinell doing stand-up comedy.
oh. Well, that would be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and I guess like you know when Silent Night Deadly Night releases, they'll release like letters and stuff of
Yeah.
parents and people that were complaining it was ruining
Oh
their kids
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's a special feature on the 30th anniversary edition that has actual footage of parents and all these news people just condemning the movie, saying it's complete trash and all that. I
Oh
always like
man.
stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that stuff's great. It
And of
really
course, you got to
is.
get not Roger Ebert, but Tom Siskel,
Oh yeah.
because he hates
Yeah.
horror movies. Every horror movie
I
he
I
talks about,
know.
he just rips into.
Yeah. Well, of course you always remember with him, right? With Friday the 13th, right?
Oh yeah,
What he
they
did
call it
with
trash and everything.
yeah, and what he did with Betsy Palmer.
What did he do with her?
He published her address.
No, I don't think it was Betsy Palmer. I think he
Yeah,
published the
it was
director and
no, no,
the writers and stuff.
no. It was Betsy Palmer, and he
Really?
said essentially, write to Betsy Palmer and tell her how disgusted you are that she's doing this role.
Wow. I mean, Betsy
Uh,
Palmer, she wasn't like anything huge. Wasn't she the judge on some show or something?
Something like that. Yeah, she was, just yeah. But apparently it was like, like how dare she do this role?
Stoop down to this such a level.
Yeah. And the thing is, let's be honest. Like, we're movie reviewers.
Yeah.
Do we really think our point of view really matters? You
Uh,
know, we just we let people know what we think. If people agree with us, fine. If they don't. I would never
you're basically
consider
as you're just listening to what they think about something. It's not like,
exactly. You know, I would not. I hate the Toolbox Murders too, but I would never consider putting out the director's address and everything and saying, "Here, go and shout at this guy for how bad his movie was."
well, I think with Roger and Ebert or whatever they are, or
Yeah,
Siskel and Ebert or whatever, I think they
yeah.
thought they were gods or whatever.
Oh,
And they kind of
definitely.
were, I guess, in the movie industry because they had the prime time show of just them reviewing movies and stuff. But the thing is, though, if you hate horror to begin with,
You
then
shouldn't be a
why even
reviewer.
bother reviewing a horror movie, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, I'm probably never on my channel ever going to review like Can't Hardly Wait or something.
Oh, yeah, Never
I
Been
don't.
Kissed or anything like that?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Can't Hardly Wait is actually a pretty fun movie, but
Yeah.
but that's not my thing, you know. So I feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel enough loyalty towards movie fans that if I'm going to review something, it's going to be something I know about and something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna go trashing something for no reason.
No,
I mean,
I'm the exact.
Siskel and Ebert used to do that all the time with horror.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think because they were mandatory, they had to
yeah,
review all the stuff coming out that week.
yeah. What always made me laugh though is pretty much every time they reviewed a movie and said it was like horrible or whatever. Every now and then you'd get someone who made a movie and they'd put that on their advertising.
Oh yeah.
Like Gene Siskel says, the worst movie ever made. It's like yes,
Oh yeah. No, a lot of people. Yeah.
like we've made it. He hates us.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the way I'd be looking at it. You know,
Oh, definitely.
if I was set out to make a brutal horror movie and all the mainstream New York Times and all that was like, oh, it's amazing, I'd be kind of disappointed because it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of like missed the point.
like if New York Times made a quote of a movie I had made and said, oh, complete trash, I'd put
Yeah.
it right on the cover, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right there, right under the title.
Yeah.
Like
But
this movie is complete trash. Like, thank you.
before we talk about the ending of this movie, man,
Yeah.
because man, but before we talk about that, what do you think of the soundtrack of this movie? That pulsing,
I
like boom, boom, boom.
it definitely works for the movie.
Yeah,
It's not a soundtrack that could work in anything.
no, it
I,
fits
I,
that
I
seedy New York street
yeah.
though.
I'd almost put it in the same category as like the soundtrack for John Carpenter movies.
I was just thinking that.
They fit perfectly for what they are.
Yeah, it has the
But it
droning sounds and just the
yeah,
pulse to it and stuff.
yeah. But if you were to take it out and put it in another movie, I don't think it'd work.
Yeah,
You know, so it's perfect for what it is. You know,
yeah. Now let me ask
which
you,
is
what did you think about this ending, man?
the ending. I don't know, because I mean, the ending's a wonderful bloodbath.
Yeah, I
You know,
loved it, man.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'm a complete gore hound, so I love stuff like that.
yeah, seeing that head get ripped off and
I know
everything.
it's just kind of like, bleh.
No, but the thing is, the first time I saw this movie, and remember when that one mannequin comes to life for the first time, or you've
Yeah,
like when he's laying in bed and he looks over at the mannequin, and then
yeah,
you just see the head of the mannequin just like kind of look over real quick and just start screaming or whatever.
yeah, and it
Like
was
that
like,
really creeped me out the first time I saw it.
yeah,
Just the whole idea of peeling women's scalps and literally hammer nailing them into a mannequin is just, oh my
oh
god,
yeah.
man.
Well, the thing is, it's let's be honest, it's real.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing actual psychos do.
Oh, exactly. This is
You
like
know,
Silence of the Lambs type stuff.
yeah, actual psychos, you know, I think it's one of the better examples of like an actual psychopathic person
Yeah.
in a
And
movie.
you like
And
how,
like I said, he's not a monster, which works.
yeah.
He's just a very broken person.
And you like how he kept repeating when the people he's like, you're not going out tonight. You're staying home with me. You're not.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the movie. You know what this would double feature with perfectly?
Hmm.
You've seen Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer?
Yeah, it would
This would go
definitely.
perfect with that movie.
It would.
It's
Certain
basically the
movies are
same
just
thing.
made for each other.
Yeah, this movie I would basically consider the New York version of Henry.
Yeah.
Remember
But
both?
yeah.
Because, yeah, even remember the very last scene? You just see, because you realize all this stuff is in his head. Where
Yeah.
he stabbed himself and he's laying in the
Yeah.
bed with the knife in his stomach.
Yeah.
Remember when it's that classic ending, the eye just pops open real quick and then it just,
Yeah.
yeah, that was awesome, man.
That was,
And then you just see that title card again, just Maniac.
yeah. It's it really is. I'd have to say it's pretty much a perfect movie for what it's trying to be, isn't it?
Yeah, I really don't have any complaints about this movie at all.
No.
Besides picture quality,
Yeah.
but other
Well,
than
then
that,
again, it was shot on 16 millimeter.
yeah, that would
You
explain it
know.
then. But to me,
Yeah.
I really don't want to give this rating out too much because I don't want to make it mean nothing. But this is a
Yeah.
10 out of 10 film to me.
I know. Yeah. I
I think
agree.
this is more deserving of a 10 than even Pumpkinhead 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, it's the sort of thing. It's you know what? Maybe we should come up with like a separate rating system just for certain movies like this, that are just like almost like it's an S,
yeah,
It's like beyond the rating system. It's just
it's a
there
must-have. Like
it
you can't
is.
have a horror collection without Maniac at this point.
It
It's
is.
just I don't know. It's just a perfect film all around. It to me it has enough appeal to be a mainstream movie, but it's too sleazy to be a mainstream movie too. Like you could
I
still
know what you
watch
mean,
this.
definitely.
Like that's what I'm looking for. You could still watch this, but yet still feel like you're almost watching something you shouldn't be, just
Yeah.
from how sleazy and kind of raw this movie is.
Well, I think with Maniac, it's one of those movies that, like, if you were to take all the footage and give it to, like, maybe the guy that, like, edited, like, Seven or something,
Yeah.
and then let him re-edit it,
Like if they did it more of like a procedural
yeah,
cop mystery story.
it would completely work,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
wouldn't like it as much though. I
I
like the
wouldn't
whole
either.
character study of this guy.
Yeah. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, like, it's not just, like, some movies you reckon could be re-edited into something else,
Yeah,
and some can't.
yeah,
Maniac, you could do that into like all different sorts, and the it's just such a powerful film and such powerful acting and everything that it will work in pretty much any context.
yeah. No, I
You know,
totally agree.
it's just it really is. It's like I'm trying to think of a word. Well, we'll call it like a dreadnought class movie.
Yeah. Before we
It's
move
like
on to the remake, so
yeah,
you give this a 10 out of 10.
10 easily, yeah,
Yeah, this would go on as one of the greatest horror movies of all time. It
easily.
just had everything going for it. Everything was at the right time. It was just a perfect.
Oh yeah, and the city,
Yeah, this was back like in
this
Taxi
yeah.
Driver days when New York was actually a bad place to be.
I know you got the idea watching that movie. Like if you were there filming that movie, you'd have to watch out,
Oh, definitely.
you know? And like it's just it's a character unto itself,
Yeah,
And it works. It really does.
yeah. I don't find this movie. There's a lot of talk. I don't find it boring in the least bit. Just everything had it going for it.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It's an all-around good flick and it works 100%,
Yeah. So
you know?
let's move on to this Maniac remake, man,
Yeah.
from IFC. What
Yeah.
this was before they had the Scream Factory partnership.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what what's your overall opinion of this before we get into details?
I really liked it. It's not as good as the original.
Yeah,
But then again, when you have like a classic, how do you really live up to it? But I found what it did really well. I liked the camera angles for one.
yeah.
I loved the idea of it being first person, and it
That
really,
didn't get tiring to you after a little bit though,
not really. I mean, because you'd still get glimpses
in
of,
mirrors and stuff of them.
yeah, and I found that to be really good. And actually, one of the shots, like the one where he's like in the bathroom and you see him in the mirror,
Yeah,
that wasn't like a thought up shot.
yeah. And then
It
there's
was it was
the
just like a happy accident that happened to happen.
right, and then
You
the
know?
mirror when he's hooking up with the chick he met on the dating site.
Yeah,
Like stuff like that was really cool.
yeah. I thought it was a really good use of the camera and everything. And I found also I liked that it made our hero, if you will, I'll say. I liked it that they made him have a reason for having mannequins.
See, yeah, I that was one of my complaints about it, man.
Yeah,
Was you realize he's living in a back room of a mannequin store?
yeah,
It just that didn't work for me, man.
yeah. The one thing in the original that
I
sort of
like the
took me out
vibe,
a little bit was the fact that he'd had all these mannequins. And you're like, where's he getting them from?
but the thing is though, you saw him in the original one. Remember he pulls out a huge box full of mannequin
Yeah,
parts. Remember he gets him out of his
yeah,
car and he's walking them to his
Yeah.
door. See, I like that. I like the mystery of that,
Yeah.
and that
I
lead.
think both work, but I just like there being like a legitimate reason for him having all these mannequins.
Yeah.
So like
No,
in
I get
theory,
it. They
if
want to.
someone came into his house or something and they didn't see the scalps, that they'd say like, okay, well, he makes mannequins. Of course he's going to have them around,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, what I
I
want to
don't know.
say about this movie, man, is when this came out in 2013, or I'm not exactly sure on the year,
Yeah.
but when I saw it, I was dreading it because I thought it was going to be complete shit. But
So was I.
I remember feeling blown away when I did watch it.
Yeah.
And I watched it last night, and it was my second time watching it. I haven't watched it since it first came out, and it had a less. I didn't like it nearly as much as when I first watched it.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
just, I gotta say that opening scene though was
yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Following that chick home, and then right when she begins to scream,
Yeah.
remember stabs her right in the
Right
throat,
up.
and it just silences it.
I know.
Oh, that
I
was
I just
awesome, man.
I dug that you could see the knife through the mouth.
Oh yeah, and then
It
Maniac
just.
pops on the screen right as he stabs
Oh
her.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a perfect intro.
It was. It's the sort of thing. It was a really solid movie. I think probably because most people weren't expecting much.
Well, when you hear Elijah Woods is taking
I
over
I
for
know,
Joe
and you're
Spinell,
thinking,
you're kind of like,
yeah, you're like really.
but
Well,
he
it's
actually
like
did a good performance, man.
he did a really good performance.
It,
And the thing is, when I first heard that he was going to be in it, I was so pissed. I was like
I think
no,
everybody was,
no.
man. I don't think
But
there was one person that was
yeah,
like, yeah, he could do it.
yeah. But he totally could.
Yeah, man.
It's the sort of thing.
The
It
makeup they
feels like if it feels like as if the original hadn't existed and everyone who made the original was making the movie today,
yeah,
this is what it would have been.
yeah,
It feels true to what they were going for in the original and everything.
yeah. One thing, I don't know how you felt about this part of it,
Hmm.
but it really bugged me because what I love about the original one is you don't see the mannequins that he sees them as real until the
Yeah,
very last scene. This one,
yeah,
like 20 minutes into it, after his first victim, remember he's seeing her as the
yeah.
real woman, so it shows that right away, which I really didn't like.
I
I
know
liked
it.
having that till the last scene.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That kind of, you know, I don't
And
know. I don't want to say lessens it, but
yeah, I do gotta say
it
too.
takes it from a 10 down to a 9, stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought the music to this also was perfect.
Yeah,
It felt like the original music. And
yeah,
one thing too, that when I heard when this first got announced, I was sitting there thinking, well, how are they gonna pull off New York now? Because now it's a yuppie kind of hipster type thing. It's
yeah,
gentrified basically.
yeah,
So it's like I was sitting there thinking, well, how are they gonna get that? But they actually managed to still make it seem seedy. Remember, they show the
yeah,
clubs, they show the homeless people in tents on the sidewalks and stuff. It still seemed seedy, so I was actually really impressed with that.
yeah. I thought that worked really well. Um, I think all in all, I think it was a good remake. I'll say this: it was a good remake of a movie that didn't need remaking.
Yeah. No, it is better than it should be.
Oh, definitely.
One
Yeah.
thing that watching this last night really pissed me off about this movie, though, I
Hmm.
didn't like the fact that, oh, just by coincidence, this girl he's interested in happens to be a mannequin photographer.
I know
Like
that
in
that
the
was.
original, she was just a photographer, and that was good enough. But now in
Yeah,
this remake, I mean, just by coincidence, she happens to photograph mannequins,
I
and
know.
just by coincidence, Elijah Wood happens to have a whole building full of mannequins.
Yeah,
And then to make it worse is that he goes to the chick's art show,
yeah,
and the woman's face is projected onto the mannequins. It's
yeah,
like, is that not the most obvious thing you've ever seen?
yeah.
And she says something, I don't remember what's said, but it's something like, "Oh, I see myself as a mannequin," blah blah blah. And
Yeah,
it's
it's kind of
like,
like, well, okay, leave it to me. I'll
I
I'll
know,
sort that out.
and it's like I couldn't stand that. It's like, do you? I love the. That's what I love about the original one. She just happens to be photograph doing photos in a park.
Yeah.
And what else is funny too is in the original one, she's taking photos like out in a park in time or wherever in New York, and it seemed bigger. Where this one, it almost made it seem more low budget. Just the fact that she happens to be taking pictures of the front of the dude's store for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. Definitely.
I don't know. That
Uh,
seemed really rushed, and it just didn't. It almost seemed like they didn't want to put any money or any kind of thought into that aspect of it.
I know it's like it's almost like, how can I describe it? It's almost like they said, okay, well, we need a reason for these two to
To
like come
me,
into contact with each other. You
yeah,
know, so let's think of the easiest, quickest thing we can do, and we'll do that.
exactly. It just felt lazy and too almost like they were. I don't know. It,
It was almost like a by the numbers, like,
exactly. I think
you
if you
know,
didn't see the original, I think this movie would be awesome.
oh, I'm sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another aspect I wanted to bring up to this was what was more what this movie has over the original, I think, is when he goes into his room and you look
Mhm.
at the scalps. Remember, there's just a ton of flies, and he's spraying
Oh, yeah.
Raid.
Yeah.
You actually, it feels more dirty and grimy because you know it must smell awful. You know, bug
Oh, yeah.
spray. It seemed more dirty actually, and him doing that.
Yeah.
And he remember he's freaking out like, no, no. He's like freaking out heavy. And it was just,
Yeah.
I really love that part of it.
Yeah, that was one thing in the original that sort of took me out of it. Like, he's nailing these scalps to the heads of these mannequins, but, they're, like, it never mentions anything about, like, what happens when they rot.
Yeah, and remember when he pulls it out in the bag at the scalp in the first one? It's just the hair has a
It,
little bit of red on it, but
yeah.
this one the hair is actually gooey and wet, and he's holding the
Yeah.
scalp up, and it looks like how skin would be if it dried a little bit. It's just
Yeah.
that. I mean, obviously it's 30 years later, so
Yeah.
it would look better, but
Yeah. I almost wish that they'd, in a way, like, if they could have tied the two together.
yeah,
Like, if they could have made it that, like, this guy was, like,
learn
you
from his
know,
grandfather or something.
yeah, or like, like he was like like a distant relative or something,
Yeah,
you know? Like, like like somewhere in the thing it would say, like
like if he had an uncle named
he had
Frank or something.
like an uncle, the Frank, and lived in New York in the 70s or something.
Or if
And
his
just leave it
mom
at
was
that.
like, or if his mom was like the photographer that dated Frank in the first one or something.
Yeah, yeah. That would be neat,
Yeah,
But then again, also that would kind of take away from the idea that, like, this is just like a twisted, broken person,
yeah. And
you
one
know?
other thing I wrote down with this movie is, I don't know how you felt about it, but I didn't like the aspect of it delved more into the mother issues with him in it. It
Yeah.
actually shows her getting hooking up like even against a pillar outside and stuff, and it's like
Yeah,
I didn't need all that. You know what I mean? I like the mystery of it in the
I know.
original one. I get a
We
remake.
got it.
Yeah, but I
You
understand
know?
with it you need to add more, it's a
Yeah.
remake or whatever, but it
Yeah,
is what it is.
you can't just make the same movie again. It's kind of pointless if you do that. But then again, you know, it's kind of like with the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street,
Oh my
you
god.
know, when they
Yeah.
really went into like Freddy, how he was like this child molester and everything.
Yeah.
Where in the original, it, we knew what he was,
Yeah.
but it never came
It
right out and said it.
it seems to be that's the thing with the remakes is you got to go more into it, which is whatever. I don't
Yeah.
like it though. I don't like the fact that it keeps on showing him as a kid with his mom. It didn't really add anything to
No.
it for me.
No.
The ending was still the exact same, but it was
Yeah.
just you had that's with that. But yeah, this I really did not like it as much this second time around.
No.
And one thing, what do you think of the ending of this one? The way this one was done?
I thought it worked. I dug the idea of like there being like a mannequin face under his
Oh,
face.
that was awesome, man.
Yeah,
That was
and I
sweet.
love the effect.
Yeah, that was
You
awesome.
know,
See,
that
but
that
it makes you
that
wonder.
shows you how you can do CG, right?
Yeah, I know. Like I
You
even
know?
liked the way it looked when they were digging into his legs and tearing them apart.
Yeah.
Pulling all the guts and stuff out. But the thing is, I
Yeah,
love the scene of them ripping Frank Zito's head off in the original.
that's just
So it makes you. What do you
so
like better?
classic.
The ending where Frank or Joe Spinell's head getting ripped off, or do you like the ending of the face being peeled back to a mannequin?
Oh, I like the head rip.
Yeah, me too, man.
There's just something visceral about it,
Yeah,
where
I'm just
like the
laughing at that scene, man, where
yeah.
where Elijah Wood has the mannequin penis or whatever. Remember, he has like
Oh
a
yeah, yeah. And he's just kind of like, oh yeah, there we go.
yeah. And then you remember that scene where he's washing his hands with the wire brush for some reason,
Oh
and
yeah,
that his hands are mannequin hands.
yeah.
Oh man, that had me. I know that had me more cracking up than anything.
I love the part where he's washing the knife.
Oh yeah,
He's just cleaning the knife, and then he gets like this the wire brush. And he's doing that on the knife, and it's like,
that's more. I don't. Ooh, I couldn't even imagine. You see his hands. Remember the chick? She's like, they're kissing, making out, getting ready to hook up, and then you see his hands, and there's just open wounds on the dude's hands.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like she's still gonna sleep with this dude. And look at
I know. You would have thought this a couple of red flags would have gone up there.
yeah, like huge gaping holes in his hands.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, maybe he's an artist or something. I don't know.
No, but I did like that aspect though of him actually on the computer.
Yeah,
Talking to him like a timid Mr. Timid or whatever
yeah,
he called himself, and
yeah. And the funny thing I always think with that one he hooks up with from the dating site, I don't know. It it seems like if he wasn't a psycho, it would have worked.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
What do you think of her playing the Buffalo Bill song from Silence of the Lambs?
that was just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
So,
what did you think though about at the end of the movie when the photographer gets scalped?
um, I liked it. I mean, I'm always down for a nice scalping.
Yeah, but do you think it fit with like in the original she got away, right?
Yeah. But what I
You know,
do love about
and it's
this one though is
like
he
why?
rips the scalp off and she's
Oh,
still alive
I
screaming.
that is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that was worth it to me for that.
That's
I
something I gotta say that the remake I think actually did a bit better. Some of the scalpings look just completely brutal.
yeah, I
Where
love that. Though he does
some
it's
of the
just so
ones in the
quick and he just
original,
rips it off and it
yeah,
the chick did it perfect. Like, she goes up and just still screaming and he's holding her scalp and it's just
yeah,
and then you
it,
know what else I love about this, man?
yeah,
You remember when he's standing in front of the car holding a scalp and the knife and the reflection on the side of the car is
yeah,
him from the neck down and it's the
yeah.
exact same
It's the
picture on the
poster.
cover. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. The original poster art from the
Oh, man.
original.
It's
That is iconic as hell.
I know. I need to get a poster of it. I have.
Yeah,
It blows my mind. I have all these horror posters, but for some reason I never picked that up.
yeah. That and like the original Halloween
Yeah.
are I think two of the most iconic posters ever. And
Yeah.
if you've noticed through all the releases, they always stay as the cover art.
Oh yeah. And I even like the tagline too. I warned you not to go out tonight.
I know that's just one of those like, oh yeah,
You know what I love about the Maniac cover too? Is
yeah,
it's one of those ones where you could show to like a parent and they'd be disgusted by it,
oh yeah, yeah,
Just a bloody knife and someone holding a scalp.
yeah. And what's also good is you know exactly what you're getting with
Oh
that
yeah.
cover. You know, no one's gonna think that you're gonna go see a movie about someone like in a mental institution or something. We know what we're getting.
Yeah.
You know, I've always liked covers like that to let you know right off the bat, this is what you're in for. This is kind of like who you're dealing with.
Yeah. No, but yeah, man, I that cover is sick. And when I saw that for the first time, the reflection in the car, and it looked exactly like it, clothes, everything.
Oh
And I
yeah,
thought
and
that was one of the best callbacks I've ever seen.
yeah, and it was a clever callback as well
Yeah, exactly. It's
because
not in
that
your
scene
face.
and
It's one
that
of those
and
things where if you're not a fan, you're not going to catch it at all,
no, and I mean let's be honest, it was never in the original movie.
No, yeah, exactly.
you know? And I thought it was just a really clever way to shout back to it. And, you know, us who are fans, we get it.
Yeah.
We see it and we're kind of like, oh.
But
And
the
if someone,
average Joe watching it
yeah,
ain't
they're,
gonna
they're
get
just
it
going to be
at
like,
all.
what's he talking about? What's going on? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Now let me
I
ask you,
just, I
would you
just,
see this on?
I saw it on Blu-ray.
You have the Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw.
actually over here, which was really kind of unique. Um, the Canadian Blu-ray was cheaper than the American Blu-ray,
Really? Is it still by
considerably.
IFC and stuff?
I think so. Yeah.
No, I saw this on Netflix or whatever
Mhm.
originally, but I did buy the Blu-ray about a week
Yeah,
ago. FYE had it on sale for like $6.99,
that's good.
so I picked it up, and I hate the cover with that cracked mirror and Elijah Wood's face on the front. I
Yeah.
can't stand it. So when I opened it up, I don't know if your release has the same thing. The reversible artwork of the bloody mannequin wearing a scalp.
No, mine just has like this red cover.
Really?
Yeah,
Man, the
I wish I had
reversible
that.
art for the... Because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I wish this didn't have this cover. And I popped it open because I figured it wouldn't have reverse cover because this was before the Scream Factory
Yeah,
merge because, they put reversibles on everything.
yeah.
But when I flip that cover around and it's just black, there's a
hmm
mannequin standing there on the cover with a scalp with blood coming down, and it says Maniac. And I'm
And
like,
you're like,
oh, that's...
there's the cover.
Yeah, it's not as good as the original, but I was like, man, I was so happy that I didn't have to
Yeah,
look at the original cover for that release.
yeah. Speaking of covers, have you seen the cover they're releasing for the new Mummy?
No. Are you talking about the Tom Cruise one?
Yeah, it's it's
I,
painful even to think about.
was it Floating Heads or something?
Well, it has like the mummy girl at the top. So that's okay. That's fine. Then it says the mummy, and then it has some like glory shot of Tom Cruise standing there looking all majestic, looking into the distance like he's some kind of
Like Brendan
messiah or
Fraser from
something.
the original one? Because in the cover of the original, or
That
the
I
Brendan,
wouldn't have minded.
yeah,
But it's like I want to say a close up, but it's not really a close up. It's like kind of like a medium shot, and he's just
okay,
staring off into the distance.
yeah, I'm gonna pick it
Like
up.
like he's freaking Lawrence of Arabia or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
pick it up just because I'm interested to see it.
yeah,
And I know Tom Cruise gets a lot of shit. I still dig him. He plays
the
in a
thing
lot of movies I actually do enjoy.
I find this is what annoys me about Tom Cruise. He's a good actor.
But he thinks he's God's
If
gift.
yeah, if he wasn't a good actor, I could just totally write him off as like a crazy person,
Yeah,
But he actually has the skills, so I can't.
yeah. I mean, I
You
love
know.
Cocktail, man. I love.
Oh, Cocktail's a classic.
I know. That's the one my mom showed me back in the day that I've always loved.
Yeah.
Obviously, my mom would like that movie.
Yeah.
But I also love Risky Business,
Mm.
and then The Color of Money.
Well, I don't think he's done a bad movie. Let's be honest.
Um,
But the thing is, he's almost always Tom Cruise.
yeah. I mean, there's movies he plays in that I don't know if I'd call him bad, but I have no interest in whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Mission Impossible and stuff, I could literally care less about.
Yeah. Apparently in the new Mummy one though, he did a stunt that was supposed to be for the next Mission Impossible.
What was it, that zero gravity
Yeah.
scene?
Apparently he was so hyped about doing it
Yeah, and he had
that
to talk his coworker into doing it and everything.
yeah, and he was like, you know what? I'm not waiting for the next one. Like, let's do it in this one. As a movie, it actually worked. The
Yeah,
Mummy
I'm
remake.
interested to see it. I want to see the female as a mummy for a chance. And she looks
It's
kind of cool. She was on the cover of
oh yeah,
Horror Hounds last issue.
yeah,
Did you get that
oh,
issue?
yeah,
She
yeah.
looked actually pretty cool on that cover.
Oh yeah, and she does a good job and everything. It's actually a pretty good movie. Um, One thing that I've noticed, which is kind of interesting, Bloody Disgusting did a little article a bit back, and what they did is they took all the screenshots that were released, the promotional screenshots, and they turned them all black and white.
Really? That's pretty
And
cool.
it looks fantastic. in
Yeah.
black and white.
I hope they may. I wonder
I'm
if
a
they'll do
big
a
proponent
release.
of black and white. I hope they do. I
Well,
really do.
like they did it with Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
They did it with The
Uh,
Mist.
oh yeah. I'm a big proponent of black and white because you can
They may
take.
have it as a special feature.
I hope they do. I really do. I tell you what. Here's the litmus test. I think. Take an Uwe Ball movie,
Yeah.
turn down all the color on your screen, and watch it in black and white.
And see if it's
And
more good.
it's a better movie in black and white. Nine out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Then again,
Maybe because you got.
with
I don't know though, because that would make you pay more attention to the story, because you would have less flash to look at.
that's true.
So it may be worse, man.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of black and white. I always have been, and
Well, I love black and white movies, like a lot of them.
oh yeah, definitely, and it gives it a certain class.
Oh,
You know?
definitely. It seems more cinematic.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and one thing that always sort of annoys me though, um, I've never seen any of the American Blu-rays of it, but over here when you see the Blu-ray for The Fly, the original The Fly from the 50s,
Yeah, we talk about the original Blu-ray.
yeah, yeah, from
I haven't seen the Blu-ray of it.
with Vincent Price in it and
Yeah,
everything. Um, all the artwork and everything is all in black and white, and it looks great. The movie itself is in color.
yeah,
I think it would have been better in black and white, personally.
yeah.
And actually, I did a review of it a bit back, and I actually mentioned it being in black and white because I tend to watch it in black and white.
Well, with The Mist, do
I'll
you watch that in black and white, or do you not have
yeah,
that?
yeah, I got that. I've watched it in black and white. It looks just awesome.
Have you seen the black and chrome edition of Fury Road?
No, because over here, unfortunately, we've never got a single disc release of it.
Really?
The only way to get the black and chrome over here is
That
to
box set?
either the box set or import it.
Yo,
And I already have the standard edition, and I'm like, do I really feel like importing it the same movie again
well,
just so I can get it in black and white? But I've heard it looks great.
yeah, it does. That box set in America probably goes for like $50, but Moods actually posted a picture a while ago
Yeah.
that box set up in Canada goes
hmm
for like $99.
it is. It's not cheap at all.
That doesn't even
And
make sense, dude.
no, though of course, what happened with me, right? I'd bought the Scream Factory Mad Max one, and I'd got the other ones, and then I bought the new one when it came out,
Yeah, I
and
wouldn't
then
even
and
buy the
then
box set.
then they announced the box set afterwards. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, you
You
know
know, I
what's crazy about that Scream Factory release of the first one? I
yeah,
was just in Walmart the other day, not even a
yeah,
week ago. That release is in the $7 Blu-ray bin with a slipcover.
I know, and it's actually a good release.
I know, but I remember even right when, when right when the Scream Factory stuff like that first releases,
Yeah,
not many of them go to physical store. Like the only ones
yeah,
I see in store are the ones with IFC, or if it's a
yeah.
huge, huge, huge release. Like I remember Mad Max was everywhere, and I
Yeah,
remember seeing it at Walmart and Target for like $10.
yeah.
And the only other two I've seen like that is Army of Darkness
Oh
was
yeah,
available in Walmart and stuff, and
yeah,
then Manhunter I saw available at Best Buy.
yeah.
It seems like only the huge AAA top tier releases get that
Yeah.
kind of attention, which
Well, hell, like at least up here now, especially if you go to Best Buy, um, you're lucky if you even get those.
yeah, our Best Buy over down here sucks, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird,
The
like I don't
the
know if
one
it's
up here used to be awesome.
yeah, same here.
It used to be like you'd go in, there'd be maybe about 6 or 7 rows of movies.
Yeah, was it down to two like mine now?
It's down to one.
Oh my God.
It's one row, and then they have a little section where they have some new releases, and they have all these 4K Blu-rays. And honestly, I've never seen anyone buy a 4K Blu-ray.
Neither have I, but I do see a lot of new catalog titles getting released.
Yeah.
But the thing is, dude, I'm not even remotely even have any of that on my radar. I've already
No.
spent the past few years spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on Blu-rays. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless there.
Yo,
Oh yeah.
we cut off for a little second there, but it
Yeah.
was just a second.
Yeah. As I was saying, 1080 is awesome.
Yeah, I'm
You
perfectly
know?
content with it. Blu-rays look.
Yeah.
I grew up in a VHS era.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
like
hear
it's
you.
like I'm 1080p is perfectly fine with me, especially when they're getting 4K transfers, 2K
Yeah.
transfers anyways. I don't need to buy another 4K TV,
No.
4K, well, most game systems now have 4K, but
Yeah. The only thing really I think you need 4K for is the new stuff.
yeah. But even
Catalog
then, it's
stuff
not
is never
worth
going to look better.
yeah, it's just I'm completely satisfied. I refuse to start collecting another medium, at least for the time being.
Yeah. Eventually, it'll.
Well, that's how it always is. I mean, I'm sure when
Yeah.
VHS came out, it was like, oh, VHS all the day, you know? But it's
Yeah.
I'm perfectly content with Blu-rays, and as long as they're still releasing Blu-rays, that's what I'm sticking to.
Yeah. It's a
I'm even
great
fine
format.
with DVDs. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that bugs me about DVDs is when you get so used to watching Blu-rays, the
And then
black
you put in a
levels.
DVD and yeah.
Yeah, because on Blu-rays, I love that deep, inky black. But I hate
Yeah.
on DVDs, it's like a grayish black, and you'll see
I know what you
spotting.
mean.
You'll
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
spots and stuff in it. But other than that, man.
Yeah.
But before we wrap this up, we're done with the two Maniacs. Well, you
Yeah.
never gave your rating of it. What out of 10 do you give the remake?
The remake I give a 9.
A 9? That high?
I give it because I think it was a really superior remake.
Yeah.
But like I said, the original is in a tier all on its own.
Yeah. I
You
wouldn't
know,
go with a 9 for it. I'd give it a 7.5.
yeah.
Just
See,
because the aspects that I didn't like, I hated with
yeah,
a passion.
yeah,
Just the laziness with the girlfriend and her job and everything. It
yeah,
was just too. It took me way too out of it. And the
yeah,
fact with the chick, you see her as the mannequin 20
yeah,
minutes into the movie. Yeah, that's what gives me. I'll bump it to an 8 actually, just
yeah,
because of the throwback with the poster and
yeah,
the reflection and the flies and just it feels like it would smell bad, which it really
yeah,
would. Uh,
yeah,
I give that an 8. So,
yeah. I just give it a 9 because I just, in a time when we're getting remakes that are like crap,
yeah,
you know,
cabin fever. We're
it,
talking to you.
yeah, it's one whose heart's in the right place and its gore is in the right place, so
Yeah, and over the years, I've heard Elijah Wood talk, and he is a genuine horror fan.
I love that.
Yeah, he
I love
even I
that,
mean he played in that movie The Good Son back in the day. Remember with Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
even love that. But he is actually a genuine horror
yeah,
fan, and as far in just non-mainstream movies, like he loves cult grindhouse cinema.
yeah,
So that's always I like.
yeah,
But
definitely.
this last segment we decided to ask or to add last minute. You texted me the story of how it came to
Yeah,
be, but just for the people listening, you want to go over that story real quick before we list off the titles?
yeah, sure. I headed out to Subway. I just needed some like dinner, so I went out, and the guy behind the desk, doing the
Making a
obvious thing,
sandwich.
making small talk and everything. Like, what are you doing over the weekend? So I said we're doing a horror podcast. So he asked about it, like what we're doing and everything. And I said, it's horror and everything. He says he's not a big horror fan, and he honestly didn't even know where to start.
Right.
So I thought, there's a lot of like not just horror, but like the subgenres of horror. People don't know where to get in.
Yeah,
A
because
good
there's
entry
so
point.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, because it is possibly like one of the oldest genres of entertainment to exist.
Well, and
Let's
there's
be
massive
honest.
amounts of titles coming out every month.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know where to get in, so why not? Let's give them an entry point.
Yeah.
You
So we
know?
figured at the end of every episode, we'll each give off 3 titles that
Yeah,
anybody first getting into horror should go out and buy just to broaden your knowledge of it and kind of give you a taste of what there is out there.
Yeah.
Now, you want to give your three first?
Yeah, sure. First off, original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
That's the one that started me.
Yeah.
You know,
I
um,
say you can get the whole series for so cheap now.
you
It's one of
can.
those
Yeah.
things where you might as well get all eight of them. Just
Yeah. Exactly. And it doesn't age.
yeah,
It's as good now as it was when it came out.
yep.
Second,
And it's one more thing about that too
mm,
is it's a really good movie for anybody starting out solely because it introduces you to Robert Englund and introduces you to Wes Craven. From
yeah,
there on, you can follow Robert Englund's career and
yeah,
Wes Craven's career, and that's
yeah,
basically a whole wealth of knowledge in itself, you know?
yeah. Next up, this one's a little bit more. I need a bit more explanation for this. I'm going with The Exorcist,
Okay.
and
I mean, I
this,
obviously understand
yeah.
why.
There's a bit of a caveat here, and that's that The Exorcist is possibly one of the scariest movies ever made.
I 100% agree.
You know, and the thing is, it's a different type of horror.
Yeah.
It's not splatter. It's it's not all psychological.
It's all about
It's
atmosphere, and
yeah,
depending what you believe, it could be a true story. You know what I'm
it
saying?
could. Yeah,
Well, they actually say it is a
yeah,
true story, and there's actually stuff saying, I guess the house that happened or the house that was filmed, I don't know which of the two. I
yeah.
think it was the house that was filmed. I think
Mm.
only the stair set remains at that spot, and I
Ah,
hear if you take a picture of it, it will never come out clear.
that's kind of cool,
I think,
actually.
yeah, the house it was filmed at, if you take a picture of the stair set, it will always be blurry. You can't get a clear picture of it.
That's pretty cool if that's true.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
no, I definitely agree that's one just because it's
yeah.
one of the scariest movies of all time.
I'd put it in like parentheses also though. Maybe you should do that after Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, and one
Get
more thing
get a
too.
taste for fear first.
Yeah, and with that too is that shows you how serious horror can be taken.
Yeah, so
And
you got one almost lighthearted in
yeah,
Nightmare on Elm Street. It's scary but lighthearted in a way, and then you got the complete other end of the spectrum with The
yeah,
Exorcist. You
yeah,
know, um, yeah. As for the third though, I've bounced a lot around. I had Hellraiser in there for a while. I had Friday the 13th. Eventually, I decided to go with Popcorn.
really.
It's not the easiest one to find, but it's a good. It's almost like a horror movie you could show your family.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
in that there's not tons of gore, there's not tons of scares, but it gives you the feeling.
yeah.
You know,
No, I definitely know what you mean, man.
yeah.
See, the three I picked, would you had said it when I was thinking, I had wrote down franchises just
Mm,
because to me that was the obvious answer for anybody.
yeah,
Is if you're gonna get into horror, I say get into the big
yeah,
dogs of it. Get into the Leatherfaces, of Michael Myers, all that. But
yeah.
to me, I feel like that would have been an obvious one, but maybe not. So I went more. The first title I wrote down actually was Henry,
Hmm.
just because when you had mentioned this idea to me, I was just looking through my collection, and that's a movie that always stuck with me. I saw it as a kid, and that to me shows, like with you with The Exorcist, is
Yeah,
that shows how horror can be taken serious. It's not just made up fantasy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not like Fright Night. It's real gritty,
yeah.
real horror that shows. It's just a
It
good movie.
shows real horror.
Yeah, it's not no made up stuff. It's
No.
based on a real guy that just shows the how serious it can be taken.
Yeah.
Now, the second one on my list, it technically is a franchise, but I put Hatchet
Oh yeah.
just because it's a fun movie, man, and it has all these throwback. It's basically a horror class in itself. You
Oh
got
yeah.
Tony Todd, Kane Hodder. You got
Yeah.
Robert England. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there was more, but that, I mean, and even
Uh,
in the whole series, you got it's just a who's who of
oh yeah.
horror. You got Tom Holland, or
Mhm.
but anyway, but yeah, I just picked that just because it's an awesome movie. And
And also that's great. Once you've got into horror a lot, go back and watch it again, and then
yeah,
see all the throwbacks that you didn't notice the first time.
now that you say that, maybe I shouldn't have put that on this list because that's a good point. Maybe maybe
I
I
don't
do
know.
cancel that out because I think that's half the fun of this is
It is
pointing out the
a
who's
big
who.
chunk of
I
fun.
just
Yeah.
realized if you haven't seen any of those movies, it kind of takes half the fun out of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, my third one was actually I was shocked that you brought it up earlier,
Mhm.
and but Ginger Snaps.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I literally wrote that down just because that proved to me that a worn out subject like werewolves
Yeah.
can
Could
be
be taken in
done
a whole
differently.
different direction. Yeah.
Exactly. It took the whole werewolf scenario and made it interesting again. It was different the first time you see it with teenage girls and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's personally my favorite werewolf movie.
It's up there with me.
Yeah, and I think what
Honestly.
did it too is, Emily Perkins from It
Oh
and
yeah.
Catherine Isabel.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, if ever you want to see a good werewolf movie, there's a movie called End of the Road.
Yeah,
It's a little short movie. I kid you not, it's about 8 minutes long.
yeah.
Um, to get the Blu-ray of it, you have to contact the director. He has a website and everything. I contacted him, got a copy on Blu-ray. It is possibly my favorite werewolf movie, and it's 8 minutes long.
Wow. Yeah,
It's that powerful.
I'm not a huge werewolf fan. I really liked obviously Ginger Snaps, loved Silver Bullet, and
Yeah,
Dog Soldiers.
yeah,
Those are three different examples of how it could be done really
yeah,
different and cool. And
yeah.
there's one I do want to check out I heard is good called In the Company of Wolves.
I saw that a long time ago. I personally found it a bit boring,
Oh yeah.
but that was just me, And then again, it's been many many years since I saw it, so it could I could it could be different now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, time has a way of changing your opinions on things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioning Silver Bullet though, that says something right there though. For people getting into it, any Stephen King movie,
Oh, definitely.
with the exception of The Shining,
Why do you say that?
I just gotta say, a lot of people don't agree with this sentiment, but I find that to be such an overrated movie.
The Shining?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. It's beautifully shot and everything, but people always hold it up to be the end all be all of horror.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And
I don't think it's all that. I mean, I do
no.
really enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
I,
It's a really solid movie. I mean, no one's gonna I'm not gonna convince anyone that it's not a good movie, because it
I wouldn't
is,
even call it my favorite Kubrick film.
No.
I actually
Oh,
like Eyes Wide Shut, to be honest with you.
oh yeah? I'm a Clockwork Orange guy myself.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so, pretty much any Stephen King adaptation, that fits in with.
yeah. Well, it's well, like 90% of Stephen King's works can be watched as a whole family. You know what I
Oh,
mean? There's
definitely. Yeah.
nothing. I mean, The Shining is one that would maybe be a little mature for
Yeah.
younger people, but like I said, 90% of his stuff a little kid could watch. I mean,
Yeah, well, here's a question. What's your favorite Stephen King movie adaptation?
um, easy answer is It, but I'm gonna say something besides It, just
Yeah.
because I mean, I feel like that would be an obvious for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's just that's a great movie, man. But as far as that's a hard decision. Oh
Yeah. Well, you're almost spoiled for choice because there's so many.
man, I know. I'm trying to think of them all. There's so many I like for different reasons. I love Storm of the Century. I know that
That's a
one's
fun
not
one.
talked
Yeah.
about a lot, but I love Colm Feore's or whatever his name is performance in that.
Yeah, he kind of really kicks ass. He has a menace
Yeah.
that just kind of, he doesn't actually do anything in the entire movie.
No, but there's something
Really,
about him.
just sits there. If you give me what I want, I'll go away. And there's just something really creepy about that.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
know, I like yeah, but other than that, I mean, I love Pet Cemetery, obviously,
Yeah.
but I've almost loved every movie he's had a part of,
Yeah.
even Maximum Overdrive. The
Hmm.
only movie I two movies he's been involved with that I can't stand,
Hmm.
and I don't know why, but Carrie,
Hmm.
it's all right, but I don't consider Carrie a classic like everybody does.
I know what you mean. It falls kind of into
Maybe because I
again, into
can't
the
relate to it.
overrated. Yeah, yeah, maybe.
That and I don't like I don't like stuff like kinetic stuff and all that just because
Yeah.
I want a little bit of believability to it.
Yeah.
And even though Scanners is basically the same thing, but I love Scanners.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
but another one that he has involved that I actually can't stand. Like
Hmm.
I hate the movie almost with a passion, and
Hmm.
people recently I found out love it, and that's
Hmm.
Firestarter.
I can get why, you know.
I can't stand that movie. I think it's boring. I don't like that whole idea. It's basically Carrie but with fire, and I don't know. It's just
I always thought what would have been a good idea is if they had joined those two worlds,
yeah,
Carrie and Firestarter,
or they were
made it that
sisters or
like,
something.
yeah, or like her, like Carrie's father was one of the people who were experimented on in the Firestarter universe, you know?
Yeah, and I just thought of my answer though. Besides
Hmm.
it, my favorite
Yeah.
adaptation would have to be
Hmm.
Night Flyer.
Oh, I love the Night Flyer.
I know, man.
Damn it, I
That's
want
after
a
thinking of. I
Blu-ray.
was looking at my collection, and I was just, yeah, Night Flyer would have to be it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in a completely different direction.
Yeah,
Stand by Me.
yeah. That
I
wasn't even on my radar when I said that, but it wouldn't have made it anyways. But
with that movie, whenever it comes on TV anywhere, I always watch it.
yeah, I've always liked Will Wheaton for some reason,
I just
just because he's a genuine fan too.
I from hello.
Yo,
Yeah, I think we got cut off for a second there.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I love the fact that like everyone like hates him from Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
There's a whole like Will Wheaton must die like
Ye-
campaigns and stuff. I love that, and I love the fact that he revels in it.
yeah,
He's just like, yes, like bring it on. I find one thing I found with Stephen King is he writes kids in the 50s very well.
yeah. And it's always the same kind of vibe with them, and the bullies always seem the same too. And
Yeah, but they
that's what I
always
like about it. It's a
seem real.
familiar. It's just it feels familiar every time you
Yeah,
watch a.
yeah,
But anyways, for the listeners here, I'm gonna close this podcast out. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be recording again next Saturday.
yep,
Every Saturday, we're gonna try to keep this schedule going. Which
yep.
no problems on my end with it. I'm
No,
assuming no problems on your end.
nope, I'm perfectly fine every Saturday. So,
All right, cool. So
yeah,
we're gonna discuss what movie to review next week, but we'll try to keep the format the same, basically going over news, releases, uh, featured reviews, and then the recommendations for people starting out. So
yeah,
see you guys next week. This is Corey's Crypt.
yeah. It's BDG reviews.
All right, catch you guys
Yep,
later.
yep. See ya.